disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Yo.
Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
We just killed those fucking men.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
All right. Oh, welcome everybody to another BD Boxing Podcast special edition here as we chronicle the ongoing drama that is the PBC and of course the Canelo arc, if we can call it that. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. This is a call-in show. It's going to be a call-in show. You guys get to call in, give us your points of views. But of course, I want to get a couple of things straight before we do that here. All right, fellas? So shout out to everybody out there in the chat. Hey, don't forget, before we get down to the fun, let's get the business out of the way. If you want to donate a couple of shekels our way, you're certainly welcome to do so with the Super Chat feature. Although it's better if you join the membership program. That way you get more bang for your buck. The most important thing is you continue to like, subscribe, you spread that BDA gospel. All right, fellas? Don't forget, you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Spreaker at your leisure. All right? And I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Mexican Boxing #1, Night Murph, Boxing with Frank Bay, Windy City, Ismael Santana, Jesus M, Bray, SSC in the house. Shout out to SSC, Jesus M, Night Murph in there. Well, I said Night Murph. Shout out to him. I Am Your Leader in the house. Shout out to I Am Your Leader, who was terrorizing people on Twitter earlier today. Low tier subhuman, who says Clownello and his Mexican Israelite fan base. What the fuck does that have to? What the fuck is that? Shout out to Skull Kid, Create, Windy City, and many more people to come, I'm sure. Oh, JDA in the house. Shout out to Joe, Luis Torres. And like I said, many more people to come, I'm sure, fellas. Thank you for joining us. All right, so yesterday evening, in the afternoon, we did a boxing show. And we'd been off the air for a couple of days. So it was about good time to do one and focus on the ongoing drama. Then as we were doing the show, Rick Glazer sent out a somewhat enigmatic tweet indicating that he would be vindicated. And then after that show, we're talking in the night here, he issued a worldwide communique stating that yes, indeed, he's fully vindicated. Canelo is no longer with the PBC. He's gonzo. PBC didn't have the money for the escrow, and that the con job that is a PBC's part, despite the claims of Canelo they did, Canelo is now headed back to the zone. While other people started reporting that, first of all, they started piggybacking on what he said. Then a Mexican journalist or insider as well, I don't know who he was, but he said he'd heard the same thing. So that's where we're at now. Now, before we get down to the phone calls, fellas, we will be opening up the phone lines. This is a call-in show. Jimmy, we got recognized too. Shout out to you guys. We pretty much covered a lot of these things yesterday. I suspect that this comes to as no surprise to you. This new announcement.
I gotta, like you said, man. Anybody's gonna doubt fucking Rick Glazer now can kind of fucking suck a fat one, because he fucking was dead on. He was the first to report that they were gonna. PBC was shuttering the doors over at Showtime. He caught a bunch of shit on that. Everybody called him a liar. Like I said, I hung on that guy pretty much for his pay-per-view numbers. I really wasn't paying attention too much to like any proclamations, but this motherfucker was dead ass on center when nobody was talking about the escrow money and all that other bullshit. I know we were here on the show. We were saying all along, because I read the mission statement that Amazon, in one breath, in one line, said they are producing, which is paying for shoulder programming. weigh-ins, docuseries, etc. And another line it said, but will be exclusively streaming boxing, PBC boxing events. So they even said there that they weren't, and then it was even verified by the Weasel on video. So it comes to no surprise because they knew they were trying to secure the money. It was actually you, I believe, Mr. BD, who said, when you posed the question, will that affect, the contract? I said, well, which was the first time I thought about him. Yeah, I'm sure he had a certain timetable, like to make things happen. And I assume that's, from what I gather, that's what happened when a certain time came about. And, Canelo was like, where's my money? You know what I mean? Where's my money? I wanted an escrow by a certain time and it wasn't there. So he's going to go back to the zone where they'll cut him fat checks the day he fucking okays a fight. And it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm sure there'll be a bunch of shit said. I'm not sure who he's going to fight. I'm sure they'll work it all out. Right now, I'm hearing Belonga and Munguia, but we'll see.
First of all, before we continue on with this highly exciting episode, I suspect we're going to get a lot of a diverse range of phone calls. Shout out to Just Brian for his contribution with the super chat. He says, do y'all think the PBC will die this year? Well, Just Brian, if I may answer this question, I am reticent to announce a date. And if you listen to this show, you would have heard us never announce a date because who knows? But like Butchus, he put it succinctly and in a very concise way. He said, compare the PBC in 2023 to where it was in, say, 2019. Yeah, they were putting on good fights, but most of them were on pay-per-view. And even though for us they were big fights, they weren't going to sell with the general public. And then they were running out of dates. Their fighters they only had one fight per year. Now they're on Amazon. They don't even know what's going on with that card. There's now even people doubting whether that March the 30th card is going to take place. So I'm not going to announce a date. I never will because I don't know. But let's just say that what we've been saying about the PBC going down, the signs were there. It's just some people chose not to see them. It makes you wonder why. Shout out to SSC as well for his contribution with the super chat. He says, Viva Mexico, MX Canelo does what the fuck he wants. Get ready to hear ass Jews call in screaming and crying again. Come on. See, this type of stuff really does, I think, bother booty juice. So I would suggest people sort of slow down a little bit with the booty juice hate. I mean, people have the right to their opinions here. Recognize, I want to hear from you too before we go on to the phone calls here because you've been part of the show for a long time now, practically since the beginning. And, this is a saga that we've often talked about. We've chronicled the downslide of the PBC. What do you make of this? Do you think they're going to save themselves somehow, or what are your thoughts?
I think it was more like somebody's going to end up saving them if they're to be saved. Like most people that are listening, I follow what's going on through a few sources. Some of them is mainly is Jimmy and Haymonites whenever he posts something on Twitter, right? And it's backed with sources, and none of this shit is shocking to me. Like all of it was bound to blow up. And I'm not a huge Canelo fan, or I'm not a hater either, but it's kind of fitting that a guy like dealing with Canelo will end up exposing what PBC is basically all about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so a guy like Canelo, you got to deal with him different. He wants you to show him the money. The reason why it's not arrogance, it's just, it is what it is. He demands a certain kind of money. If you can't promise that, why would he do business with you? And so it's not shocking at all that he said, okay, sort of like LeBron James, when he was choosing different teams, he was like, well, I'll take my talent and my money somewhere else.
Well, that's the whole thing there. So for people that don't really, because maybe that last tweet from Glazer didn't really explain everything. What he's saying is that Canelo was going to have his next fight, the second fight from the 3-fight contract with the PBC. The PBC, they negotiated with the PBC and they said, okay, we need a certain amount of money, the guarantee, in an escrow account. And of course, there was a deadline. The deadline came, the money wasn't there. And that's why Rick Glazer, about what was it, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, said, major announcement tomorrow from Canelo, which is going to be that he's leaving the PBC. Now, he didn't say that the next day, Canelo. He only said that he was sticking with Azteca, TV Azteca over there in Mexico, blah, blah. So a lot of people jumped on Rick Glazer and they said, Glazer doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Well, it unfolded this week. Canelo kept his mouth shut, probably because he's a professional and wanted to see how things ended up going. Or maybe he's got an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. I don't know. For some reason, he decided to stay quiet, but now it's coming out via Rick Glazer and other people. And it's unsurprising. I don't know if it's true or not, by the way. And may I also say that I am not one of those people, and I never was one of those people that was praying for the PBC's downfall. More boxing for me is a better life. But the reason why we were criticizing them is because there was room for criticism, a lot of room for criticism. And some people, as I've noticed on Twitter, and perhaps you guys have noticed as well, it's a lot of tribalism, just like in the YTBC. And people pick their sides, and with the PBC, people just love to defend it. Jimmy, Steven Espinoza, as always, had to throw his 2 cents in, even though he's loosely affiliated with the PBC now. And he said, in regards to Rick Glazer's announcement, he said, 1,000% false. By the way, I don't know how anything can be 1,000%, but anyway, the escrow situation was not the issue. And then he just leaves it at that. And I told Butch earlier, because I talked with him, and I said, how come Espinoza never breaks down point by point why Rick Glazer is wrong? He just throws out this blanket statement. He expects people to believe him.
Yeah, it's lawyer talk. It's word salad. Because what he does, it's ambiguous in his statement. 1,000% false. Okay, so there was money for escrow, but then he leaves out the important things. We're only going to deposit it if you okay this fight, if you only willing to fight this person. So I'm sure there was all kinds of stipulation that he didn't make public. Meaning, yes, I believe after 2 months, they might have found the financing, the backing, whether it was multiple people or one person, who knows. But they got the $35 million that they would be able to put in escrow. But it was stipulations involved on it, which weren't a part of the original agreement. Meaning, I guess from what I've been able to ascertain, that he was the words were, the people were the first the 2 Jermall brothers, then Benavidez. That's what he agreed on. In the agreement, it was, if there's a change, Canelo has first right of refusal, which is common. It's like having a no trade clause once you're an excellent player in any league. Once you're at that level of any player, and whether it's baseball, football, you sign, later on your contracts when you become that good. It's you have the right of refusal to be traded to certain teams. I'm sure it was that way with him too. If say something happened to Jermall or whatever, we choose something else, you have first right of refusal. He probably said, I'm not even listening to anybody else you say. That's who I said. I think he wanted to get out of it. I don't think he liked working under the PBC umbrella because he was just too quick to bounce from it. I think he clearly enjoyed his time at DAZN, because even when he sued them, he never stopped fighting on them. It was actually suing to try to get out of the his Golden Boy contract. But they had to be a part of the suit. So I think he's going back to DAZN. And but Rick, listen, when it comes to Espinoza, you got to look at everything. He always rats on himself in his long-winded fucking word salads. And that's what he does. Like you said, he doesn't say, 1,000% wrong. The escrow wasn't an issue. Okay, what was the issue then? Because clearly it took you 2 months, so the money wasn't there, because just by announcing 2 months after the Amazon deal was signed that, okay, 8 weeks later, we got the money, there's no problem. And the fact that, and it was said since day one, that Amazon wanted their first show not to be behind a paywall, right? Especially for their customers. Yeah, we got a new thing we're doing. They didn't want to have to say to their customers, but it's a pay-per-view. And what do? The fact that they're putting Tim Tszyu versus Thurman, right? A fight so ridiculous that the WBO refused to sanction it, tells you whereabouts they're at. You know what I mean? Financially, which they don't have any. They expect the fans to finance everything. And regardless, we can say whether they want. This is a huge kick in the balls to the PBC. They just lost the face of boxing, literally walked out their fucking door What do they got now besides an aging, busted old stable? Period.
Listen, man, everything you're saying is on point here. And again, it's I'm curious to hear what people have to say. We got the phone calls here. The phone lines are open, people. The phone number is right there in the middle left-hand portion of your screen. We have limited time with the phone lines open, so you make sure to call in before that time expires. Otherwise, we won't be able to get to you, all right? So make sure to do that. Don't forget to hit the like. And let's go to a phone call right now. Let's go to 214. 214, you in the air. 214, what's on your mind?
BDA, I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. It's inevitable. It's D-Block, D-Town, D-City,
Oh,
D-Ville.
D-Block, what's up, man?
Baltimore.
What's up,
Ain't today a glorious day? You know, I've been waiting for this karma to come back at PBC ever since they stole De La Hoya's fighters. Ever since that day, I said to myself, ever since that day, I've been picketing. I was the only one picketing. I was the only one saying that's fucked up what they did to Oscar. I know Oscar had his problems. But I also said, you know, karma's a bitch. It's going to come back and bite you, motherfucker, for what you did. And Schaefer. Where's Schaefer at now? I don't know whatever happened to Schaefer. But it's okay. He's probably somewhere in the island, chilling, relaxing, enjoying his millions, while all these other motherfuckers over here supporting the PBC, love, nut-hugging the PBC. I'm not here for Oscar. I'm not here to do that. I'm here because redemption came back, and I knew it. When you do that to somebody, it comes back to bite you in the ass. I'm happy. They thought they had the whole wide world. Last year was their green light. Last year was their swan song. But guess what? That Titanic that you thought was untouchable, that not even God could break down, guess what? That motherfucker's sinking right now. You got the violinist hitting that violin while everybody else is running around panicking and shit. I don't care what they say. I know they've been saying for a long time that PBC is going down, but hey, these are the facts. Showtime is out of business. Facts. Fox is out of business with boxing. Facts. NBC out. Facts. Crawford went in there and exposed their champion. Facts. Canelo Alvarez, he's gone. Facts. Now, we got Benavidez and we got Tank Davis. They're the new face for PBC. I want to see this shit. I want to see how they can rescue the PBC. What you got to say with that, BDA?
Yeah, well, that's what's going to be my question to you because, okay, they've lost Canelo. Also, Crawford now, the deadline for his rematch clause against Spence has expired. So he's free to go. He's a free agent now. So no more Crawford, who a lot of people consider the number one pound for pound guy in the world. They've lost the biggest star in boxing, in Canelo Alvarez. Do you think Errol Spence, Tank Davis can carry the ship?
No. Plainly, no. I don't think Errol Spence will ever be the same guy he was before. He never will be. Where is Errol Spence? What's going on with Errol Spence? Has anybody heard who he's going to fight? Are they going to make another makeup fight? What happened to Danny Garcia? What happened to Lara? What happened to all these guys they had back in 2013? You know, where's everybody at? Where's Wilder now? Where the fuck is everybody that they praised in that Fox press conference and they had all their champions lined up and everybody had a belt? Where the fuck are you at now? Charlos look like they don't know what the fuck is going to happen. Benavidez looks like he's going up in weight and is going to take on a challenge from a guy that, you know, you could respectfully say he was in there with Beterbiev and got his ass whooped. His last two fights coming up from retirement they haven't been that great. Fighting against guys that were 6 and 23, I don't know what the fuck with that. I just want to know, I want to tell you right now, no. Tank Davis ain't going to bring no flagship. He ain't Washington going through that river for the United States. He ain't that man. He ain't nothing. He has his own legal issues. He got baby mama drama. Coach Ford has legal issues. Right now, the PBC they're drowning, my brother. They're drowning. Are you going to pay for that Keith Thurman Tszyu fight?
I mean, listen, I might have to because I'm a boxing degenerate, but the fact that I'm thinking about not doing so is indicative of the quality of that card. I want to ask you, though, last question. Frank Martin versus Tank Davis, because, again, Tank Davis is the only guy that comes close to being a star for the PBC. How many pay-per-view buys do you think that does, and would you be willing to pay for that card?
No, I'm not going to pay for it. I'm done. I'm good. I'm good over here on this side. Now, guess what? Now, and I'm trying to, because I know my time is coming to an end. Now, guess what? All the time PBC was drowning all these other promotional companies, Oscar de la Hoya, Top Rank, and DAZN, and always trying to say, you got to come to our side. Guess what? Now, motherfuckers, your time is lit. It's done. Now your ass going to have to beg to go get some money from another network. D-Block, D-Town, D-City, D-Ville. Baltimore, stand up.
All right, shout out to D-Block. Thank you for your call, man, and call back next time. Don't forget, fellas, the phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Make sure to call in. This is your show. Give us your thoughts on the whole Canelo situation, the PBC. Is the PBC going down? Is it Canelo's fault? A lot of people, believe it or not, are blaming Canelo. And let's talk about that a little bit. I saw on Twitter some people, a minority of people are saying that Canelo was adamant about fighting Jermall Charlo, and that the PBC, being the bastion of boxing quality, said, no, we don't want to do that fight. We want you to fight Benavidez. And that supposedly that caused the descent here, causing Canelo to flee, which raises a lot of questions on my end that make me see that situation as highly unlikely. But Jimmy, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think he used it as an excuse to get out of the PBC. He knows, but put it this way, if he really wanted to fight Charlie, he'd still fight him when he's on the zone. I think he's used that as an excuse to say, listen, this is what we agreed on. If we were going to change fighters, I had first right to refusal. And it's not going to be open-ended, and time has come. But here, I got to throw a little more gas on the fire, man, like a fucking a United States Airman.
Come on, Jimmy,
Terrence
man.
Crawford. Oh, sorry,
Jeez,
okay. Listen. Terrence Crawford is reportedly now a free agent. It is claimed that Crawford signed a one-fight deal with Al Haymon's PBC for Errol Spence, and the window for the rematch clause has expired, meaning his promotional broadcasting / free agent deal is now kaput. He is also no longer, according to Mike Carpenter, being reported right now at the ESPN, no longer with PBC either.
Yeah, I brought that up earlier to one of the callers, I believe. But here's another piece of news that might or might not be true, Jimmy. Dan Rafael is reporting that the next card from the Amazon, excuse me, I keep saying the zone, from Amazon, that is supposed to be free. The first free card is likely to occur, hold on to your horses, in June. All the way in the middle there of the year. They can't do it in April.
That's
do it in May.
unsustainable.
I mean, this is getting.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just agreeing. Yeah. No, they're dead. They're dead in the water now. They have no money. And the thing is, how many? Why would? And everybody thinks, or not everybody thinks, but I think a lot of people assume that Amazon, because they signed a 3-year deal or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, they can back out at any time. I wouldn't be surprised if they pull the plug on this fucking disaster before it even starts. I mean, imagine being the zone, I'm doing it. Amazon, and inking this deal, right? And turning around now, and go, wait a minute, what a clusterfuck! Like the two biggest names easily on the PBC, and now not with the PBC. Like if that, I guarantee you, it's even in the wording of in the language of the contract. If you lose these fighters, we don't have to stay. Because right now, who do they have? Tank Davis? Fighting Frank fucking Martin? Come on. Yeah. What a joke.
And you know what's interesting about that, Jimmy, is the fact that some people made a big deal out of, they signed Canelo, they signed Crawford. Who's on top now? PBC. PBC taking over the world. So if gaining those two names was a big deal and meant that they were on top, what does it mean that within the span of a week, they lost those guys and they only gave them one fight? They only got one fight out of them. What does that mean?
So Amazon, what did they? Was the reason for them accepting to have the PBC on their platform? Did Canelo and Crawford have something to do with that? Do we know or?
Well, Jimmy said that it's likely, right, Jimmy? Well, what did you say about that?
Oh yeah, I would almost guarantee it. Like the same way DAZN used Canelo when they doubled the price and said there'll be occasional pay-per-view like when it concerns maybe like Canelo or Joshua. Now they're turning around and throwing everything on it. But sure, anybody, even like listen, there's only a handful of people in professional boxing that you can walk up in North America and say, have you ever heard of these names? Canelo Alvarez is just about it. as far as this how much of a niche sport it is. So the executives, whoever is handling the sports accusations, acquiring assets for Amazon, they had to do a little due diligence and see what's going on in boxing. Okay, who's the biggest names they have? Well, they have, even though it's limited, they have Canelo, and they have at least one more fight with Crawford. Now they fucking put the kaputs on the shut down the Canelo rematch. The Crawford Spence rematch, rightfully so. That didn't need to have one, and now Canelo's gone. So I would not be like if they announced tomorrow that Amazon has now dissolved its partnership with PBC, it would not surprise me. And listen, I'm not going to lie. People say, "Oh, you're a hater." No, okay. So first off, I just want to say, anybody who comes on and says you're a hater, this is pure hate. That's like the most low IQ, fucking stupid thing someone can say because it doesn't mean anything. Do I not like Al Haymon? Do I dislike him? Yes. Since almost day one, after about a year, I gave him about a year. I wanted him to get the fuck out of boxing. And the reason why, what has he done good for it? Tell me, put me in my place. Tell me all the good he has done for the sport of boxing. All the great fights he's brought us. What has he done besides stagnate careers? Okay, all right.
I'll take up that challenge.
Stagnate careers and fucking make them bad.
It's not really well. I remember when you used to call on the Steve Kim show. I remember when you used to call on the Steve Kim show there, what he did with Montoya, and you used to repeatedly refer to him as boy. So come on, Jimmy, let's keep it real, man. No, I'm kidding. It's
the underlying. It's the underlying tone. We know.
Yeah, man. Listen, Jimmy has never been. Jimmy was being realistic. If it wasn't for Jimmy and a lot of guys on this panel, I got to give you credit. I would have been perhaps a little lost, like a lot of people on Twitter are, but because I listened to you guys and I saw the writing on the wall, I said, "Yep, this sounds like a logical progression or devolution, rather, if you want to use that term." By the way, Rick Glazer is not the only one who's got inside sources. I got my own couple of sources. Let me tell you, which obviously will remain anonymous, and I got the inside scoop. Amazon will probably be dropping the PBC, and they're going to have to move on to another social media platform. And I'm going to give you a little. I can't tell you which one it's going to be, but I'm going to give you a little guess here via jingle. That's where they told me they're going. So you're gonna see it's gonna be a different type of product from the PBC. Let me tell you, a little different. Shirtless man is not the only thing the only article of clothing that's gonna be disappearing. By the way, we got another phone call here, fellas. The phone lines are open. Left hand middle portion of your screen. That's the number right there. So make sure to call in. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 619. 619. You're on the air. 619. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jose.
Oh, Jose, what's up, man?
No, nothing, man. I just my opinion about what's going on with Canelo. I don't think it's a secret, man. There's interviews out there with Eddie Reynoso when they ask him, if he about Canelo's next appointment, and he says in Spanish that they have to be very careful with who they fight nowadays because it's Saul's last fights, and he brings up the fact that how can he be scared when he fought people like Mayweather, Trout, like he still thinks that's he can bring that up and that's could get him out of people saying that he hasn't fought So, that was a long time ago, too, I don't know why he keeps bringing that up. And also, man, do you really think that, basically Al Haymon didn't want to pay him? That's the truth. That can't be, I don't think that can be hearsay in any way because that's out there, They're even saying it themselves, that they offered Canelo, they told him that they can't pay him the 35, Canelo's gotten used to these big paydays, man, and he wants to keep charging what he's used to making, but, he can't be doing that, expecting, to fight whoever he wants. And also, do you seriously think Eddie Hearn, it's like you said, man, they're doing to Berlanga, man, they're going to take him out behind the alley and put one in him, that's basically what it is, because you really think Eddie Hearn believes that Berlanga can beat Canelo, and that's the fight that he wants. because he was pushing for it last night.
Well, let me ask you, Jose. Jose, because you're asking a lot of rhetorical questions. This is your show. This is a call-in show. You tell me, man, what do you think is going on? You think Canelo is afraid of Benavidez?
Well, no, I wasn't bringing up rhetorical questions. I was just bringing up the facts. What's going on right now? But as far as Benavidez, yeah, it's obvious, man. But I got my own personal things about that, man. Like I said, he is at the same time, but Benavidez, man, he went up to light heavyweight, and he's a big guy, man. He's really, he should have been there before. Like, if you think about it, this is my own thing, man. Do we know how good Benavidez is if he were to match up with Bivol and Beterbiev, a weight class that he belongs at? Do we really know? And like, who has he? I mean, aside from, he's done things to deserve the fight and everything, but like, you know what I mean? Like, he it is what it is, man. Yeah, Canelo doesn't want to fight him. Yeah, it's. I mean, I have no. What do you say? Like horse in the race. It's like, I don't. That is what's happening. He doesn't want to fight. It's all politics, man. And Canelo just wants to keep charging millions of dollars just to fight. He said, like I told you, Eddie Reynoso even said it. He's like, we have to be very careful because he's never sold last fight. He just wants to charge big money for the last years he's going to fight.
I'm curious though, because that's the question I want to be asking every caller here, because I'm curious to get people's opinions on this. What do you base that on? Just on that Eddie Reynoso comment, or is there more that leads you to believe that Canelo is afraid of Benavidez?
Well, it's the obvious. It's the obvious because also I guess he offered him $55 million for the Benavidez fight, and like if he really wanted that money, which we know he does. Why wouldn't he just fight? But now he has options. Now he has Berlanga, Munguia, and those are probably like easier fights for him. So, but also here's the thing. Before you said, even I think he's ducking Munguia. It's like I base it off that. I base it off that there's things out there for him to fight. There's fights for him to pick right now, and he's not doing it. You know what I'm saying? He wants to come out. Even if he did fight who I wanted him to fight, I don't think it would be this next fight, man. He's gonna come up with something. I was thinking like a Chris Eubank Jr., man, something like that doesn't get a lot of that people are gonna complain, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be like, oh, that'll be interesting, but I think he is ducky, man, because he has all these options and he's not picking anybody. He's looking out for his own.
I get it. You brought up the $50 million thing, though. They recently, Samson Lewkowicz, who is Benavidez' manager or promoter, whatever he is, said that. He said, we offered him $50 million. Then Eddie Reynoso said, we never saw that offer. And Samson Lewkowicz took down the tweet. Now, why would he take down the tweet? Why would he clap back and say, no, we did send it to you? That's what this whole drama is about, the fact that they couldn't pay Canelo.
And then how about the fact that Canelo it was reported that he did enter into no negotiations with them, but that he only offered him the minimum, which is $5 million. And and I think that's out there. I don't know. Is that true or not? And if it is, that's pretty, that's kind of like saying he doesn't want to fight. And I heard he offered that, and then he went. That's what Benavidez Sr. was saying that.
Yeah, he offered him $5 million,
which is $3 million more than he paid Bivol.
Yeah. So they did offer.
But the thing is, they're saying he offered that, and then he disappeared. Like he was just testing the waters to say, to see if they would accept it.
Well, it's not that he was offering. He was saying what percentage of his money was he willing to peel off? Meaning all that money's Canelo. Benavidez brings nothing to the table, brings no money, and you can tell.
I know what you're saying, but my point is
and I'm not saying this to you, Jose. I'm just saying to anybody else listening, when Canelo pays somebody, it's just coming out of his pocket. It's the slice of the money him and his name brings in that he's willing to peel off. Because now we're going to see what Benavidez can bring in by himself.
I'm not disagreeing
now he's
with
going to
that.
probably make
I'm not
1.5
disagreeing
million.
with that. He is the champion.
No,
But
I
what
know. I'm not saying
is
it's you, brother.
they
I'm not saying it's you.
What's that?
No, I was saying I know. I wasn't saying that like you were saying it, Jose. I was just putting it out there.
Yeah, but we're just talking about what happened. So Benavidez said, yeah, they did accept the $5 million, but then that's when Canelo, he disappeared. I was just listening to that this morning.
May I say that?
We don't know what Canelo's doing. I heard the announcement was going to come out today, Monday. It's like I don't that information just came out that he split with the PBC. Okay, now, right now, I don't think he's scrambling. I don't think he's trying to come up with something right now. That's why he hasn't come out.
Well, I'll say this, Jose. I'll say this. I'll say this. The PBC failed to come up with the money that they guaranteed Canelo. That's on the contract. So they failed their contractual obligations. Number two, Jose Benavidez said that supposedly...
but he wanted it for Charlo.
Let me finish. And then on top of that, Jose Benavidez Sr. said supposedly they accepted the offer. But Jose Benavidez is the same guy who claimed that he was negotiating with Canelo's team for the Gvozdyk fight. He was negotiating for the Gvozdyk fight, and he didn't even know that Gvozdyk was represented by Eddie Reynoso. So he's lying there. He's leaving out some truth.
And here's my thing. And here I don't know what the other particulars about that.
What I'm saying is that I don't know who to trust in this scenario. But we've already caught Jose Senior lying or being ignorant of the facts. I agree with you. Right.
And may I add to that? Why is Benavidez? If he's fighting at 175, that's because he can't make 168 anymore. So so yeah, good for him if he moved up. So she's showing he wants to create his own path and this and that. But if he were really in the running for the Canelo fight, if he was really hoping to get the fight, why would he be fighting Gvozdyk? It's like, so it's like kind of like, okay, what is it? It's like. If Canelo's ducking, then why is Benavidez fighting Gvozdyk? It's like, you know what I mean. And Gvozdyk is he trains with Reynoso, so that's I don't know what that means, but
Well,
one fact we know is okay.
I believe he's managed by
the fact is we don't know who Canelo's fighting, man. That's still a secret, and I don't think it's going to be anybody that highly touted, man.
Well, we shall see. The one thing we do know is the PBC lost him. They couldn't keep him on. All right, listen, Jose, we got to move on to another phone call, man. Thank you for your call, and call back next time, right?
Canelo has a lot of miles, man. He's done. A lot of miles and too much money.
There you go. All right, thank you for your call, Jose, and call back next time. Take it easy out there. All right, we got to get to another phone. Hey, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit that like. Really helps us out. The phone number is right there. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. This is a call-in show. You guys get to call in and give us your thoughts on this whole malarkey that is occurring. Who is next here? Okay, let's go to 470. 470. What's on your mind?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, 470. What's up?
Canelo Benavidez. Is he ducking Benavidez? I think this is all politics. I feel like a lot of the people who, if you back Canelo, if you're a fan of Canelo, you're going to make excuses. The fact is, Benavidez is the number one contender. He's the guy people want to see fight Canelo. Canelo's not making the fight. We can say that Canelo has done this, X, Y, and Z. He's in the twilight of his career. He doesn't owe it. This seems to be becoming normalized in boxing, so it is what it is. I just know that years ago, that's why I talk about his politics. If this was Floyd Mayweather, you guys would be going off, So I guess it just depends on who it is. But this is the fight people want to see. We don't want to see him fight another Charlo brother. We don't want to see him fight the Berlanga or any of these other guys. It's Benavidez and Canelo. That's what people want to see. Anything other than that is him just getting paid. He's just stealing money. So, I mean, if people want to pay for that, if he can get money out of his own to fight mismatches, it is what it is. But, you know,
I think Benavidez should take a pay cut, a paycheck cut. Like, he should take less money and make the fight happen.
Who's that?
Benavidez. Benavidez should just take whatever money is offered, and then he beats Canelo, and then he becomes the man.
Yeah. So I'm not involved in. We don't know what happened in the negotiation room. We can only speculate. You know, one side says this, one side says the other. At the end of the day, the fight's not happening. Canelo hasn't. The fight's just not happening. So, I mean, we can.
Well, but I'm just curious, caller. I'm just curious. I'm just curious because I mean, the issue here at hand is, and the story going on is the fact that the PBC failed their contractual obligations to secure the money for Canelo. How is that Canelo? Like,
okay,
so was that?
Okay, so I mean, that's one way to. Again, we don't know. That's just what's been reported.
Yeah,
by
we don't know.
side.
So what did you start calling and saying it was Canelo's fault?
I never said it's his fault. I'm just saying the fight's not happening. Traditionally in boxing, again, it's politics. That's why I said it started off with politics. It all depends on, do you like the fighter or do you not like the fighter? If you like Canelo, you'll say, oh, well, they couldn't provide the money. Benavidez should take less money. If you got an issue with Canelo, you're going to say Canelo's ducking. You know, and I'm just saying let's use the same standard for all fighters. Because, like I said, if this was Floyd Mayweather, you guys would be on the completely other side of the issue, saying he's ducking.
You don't know that. You don't know that. In this situation, we don't know the facts. In other situations, we might know the facts, right?
Well, one fact is 100% they didn't secure the money because Canelo wouldn't be able to get out of the contract without liable. He'd be on the hook for it. So the fact that the PBC has no legal ramifications against him proves they didn't have the money. Because you can't just walk away from a contract without facing legal ramifications.
And you guys and the other Canelo fans will be happy to pay $75 to watch him chase a Charlo brother around the ring for 12 rounds. So it is what it is.
Whoa, who said that? Like, you're making a lot of assumptions here, caller. Your argument was if Mayweather. Your argument was if Mayweather.
Isn't that what they were trying to pitch? They were trying to pitch Canelo versus Charlo, right?
Let's say they were. But let's say, well, hold on. Let's say
everybody on the panel said we wouldn't buy the fight if he did.
Yeah, that's like. Let's say they were trying to make that fight. Why would you assume that we were going to be happy to pay that to watch that fight?
Because you guys sound pro Canelo, so I just
you need to pay more attention. Like, come on.
Can I just say this? Can I say this? You called in.
I'm definitely not pro Canelo. I'm definitely
certainly not pro Canelo. You called in and you said you did a slight little thing because you said anybody at this point that doesn't blame Canelo for this fight falling apart. So you did blame him. That's what you. Then when Bucho called you out on it, you said, "No, I didn't say that." So it seems like everything you're saying here is you're projecting onto us that we're Canelo fanboys, but in reality, it sounds like you just dislike Canelo.
No, what I'm saying is we got to hold the same standard for all fighters. That's what I'm saying. So if you take one side with one guy, you take on and with the same with the similar facts, and then you take a different position. That's all I'm saying. And I don't know if it'll be Charlo. I don't know if it'll be the Berlanga guy. I don't know if it'll be some other guy. Maybe Chris Eubanks Jr. You guys will all have your cervezas out and popcorn and be happy to pay your $75 to watch the next Canelo fight.
If he fights Chris Eubank, I'm pretty sure on this panel people are going to say those are mismatches. At least go on paper, they're mismatches.
Okay.
But certainly for me, I will say those are mismatches in terms of like who Canelo is, and who they are, and who are they. Actually, they haven't proven anything. But also keep in mind, remember Canelo's a lot littler than these guys, so you got to also keep that in mind. Okay.
Here we go with the excuses. Here we go.
No.
Little Canelo. Here we go.
Obvious.
Here we go.
Not an excuse. It's not an excuse. What does your eye? Hold on. What does your eyes tell you? Who's the smaller guy? What does your eyes say when you look at them?
I see a guy who knocked out Caleb Plant. I see a guy who chased Caleb Plant around the ring. And knocked him out.
I agree with you, but who was the significantly smaller guy? Who is the significantly?
I'm not in the Canelo. I'm not in the Canelo protection business. I'm in the let's get in the
I'm
ring
not
business
protecting
and fight.
Canelo either. I'm saying those are mismatches. And if he gets old overnight, those big guys might fuck him up. He should beat them, though.
I'm not here to protect a guy getting paid $35 million per fight who's knocking guys out. I'm not concerned with how small Canelo is. I don't go into it looking for how to protect little Canelo. I'm looking to see the best fights.
You know what else you do? The other thing you don't do is you don't answer questions. You're very, very evasive, which is always indicative of a guy. I mean, I'm always suspicious of a guy who refuses to answer simple questions. It's almost like you don't want to have this conversation in good faith. By the way, I should ask you too, did you end up placing a wager on Demetrius Andrade to beat David Benavidez?
I did not.
You know what I think? I think you should thank us. Because I think we probably changed your mind. And we prevented a catastrophe for you.
I'm
just saying. You know, I think we deserve a little credit when we deserve it.
I said prior to the fight, I hadn't seen Andre fight in a while. I thought he had a tricky style. I didn't bet on him. That's all I said. I just said I wasn't 100% sure on the outcome.
That was very tricky.
But
you don't need to thank us, by the way. You don't need to thank us. Every once in a while, we give people good advice.
Canelo,
very tricky style. Very tricky style. I'm pretty sure Canelo was afraid of Andrade as well.
Yeah.
He never said that. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not in the Canelo protection business. He needs to get in the ring and fight Benavidez or fight somebody or fight somebody that the boxing fans want to see. I'm not here to watch a guy get paid $35 million to run around the ring like he did with Charlo. That was a fraud on the boxing public. So I want to see real fights, guys. I'm not here to protect any fight. I don't care who.
By the way, caller,
I'm not here to protect anybody.
He should fight. He should be fighting Benavidez. But on the flip note, right? If it's true that they couldn't secure money, which is part of the deal, I can't say, well, Canelo's ducking Benavidez because, you know, he should just take the fight on good faith that he might get that money. That's not how business works. Me personally, I think Benavidez will beat.
Let's say what you said is true.
I think Benavidez will beat Canelo.
What you said is true.
And by the way, Charlo running around the ring, that sounds like the type of style you probably would like Andre running around the ring, and you know he's getting paid $500,000 to do that. So I'm just saying, I don't understand why when it involves Canelo, you don't seem to. When it involves Canelo, you don't seem to enjoy that. But listen, caller, we do have to move on.
You know
Thank
what
you
I
for
meant.
your call, and call back next time, right, man? Take it easy out there. We got to move on. We got other phone calls. And he already repeated the same thing. He's not in the Canelo protection business, so we kind of got it. Fellas, don't forget to hit that like, hit that like, hit that like. It really helps us out. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 858. 858, you're on the air. 858, what's on your mind?
Hi. That guy that was calling, the caller, clearly he's a Canelo hater, but, the facts are the facts. Who's going to fight in prize fighting? Who's going to fight, especially the face of boxing? Who's going to get in the ring if they're not even getting paid? If Haymon doesn't have the money, then how's the fight going to be made? Benavidez Sr. even said himself that Canelo made him an offer, but then he didn't hear back. Well, maybe he didn't hear back because Haymon didn't have his money. So how are you going to make a fight if there's no fucking money to pay the fighter? How are you gonna make a fight? It's not like they didn't offer him. They offered him the fight. They offered Benavidez the fight. But where's Canelo's share? Where's his money? Where's that part of it?
Yeah, again, to reiterate what's going on here is the PBC failed to secure Canelo's money, and so he decided to vamoose. Right. So, it seems like people are trying to place the blame on Canelo without even addressing the issue at hand, which is the financial aspect of it.
It's so ridiculous. Anybody, if this was Tank Davis, if he didn't get them, if the money's not there for Tank's gonna move on. Haney's gonna move on. Ryan's gonna move on. Triple G's gonna move on. Coto's gonna move on. Everybody's gonna move on. Nobody would stick around if they're not gonna get paid. Like, who the fuck does that? Nobody does that. Nobody. I don't even know why this is even an issue or discussion. You know, you don't have the money? Okay, I'm gonna go to somewhere else. And Canelo's gonna fight Munguia. So to me, that's a good fight.
They want Canelo to do charity, basically. They want Canelo to take a pay cut. They want Canelo to do this, they should take a fucking, Benavidez should take a pay cut. And by the way, like you said, they fucking lied. They don't have the fucking money. So why would they fucking tell Canelo, yeah, we're going to pay you this amount, and then all of a sudden, guess what? We don't have the fucking money. Like, what kind of business are these people running?
Exactly.
Benavidez should get the fight, man. He should get the fight, but at the same time, if the money's not there, then you can't fault Canelo, who demands top, like he demands top dollars. What you do is, right, let's say if there is no fight between Canelo and Benavidez because there's no money, what you do, and now that Canelo left, make yourself if you're really that good, and I've always said this about Benavidez, then go do something, like go to light heavyweight, become fucking undisputed. These guys are old that are the champion, and he's the younger guy and bigger guy. So if he does that, guess what? Canelo has no choice but to fight him.
And not only that, but like why is he fighting Vozdek? Vozdek is like, he hasn't done shit in a long time. I guess he retired for a long time and then like he came back. But it's like, and he's also Eddie Reynoso's fighter. So that whole thing to me is weird. Why is Benavidez going to fight an Eddie Reynoso fighter? That to me seems weird. And then like you can't do business with Canelo, but you can do business with Eddie Reynoso since he manages Vozdek. Like how's that even a thing? That's okay. You can do business there, but they don't have the money for Canelo, so that's why Canelo's not. It's not like they can't make a deal. They made a deal with Vozdek, so to say that they're not going to make a deal or Canelo won't make a deal is ridiculous.
Well, according to Jose Benavidez, wait, you mean he's with Eddie Reynoso? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Vozdek is with Eddie Reynoso. And then what's crazy is that Senior, David Benavidez, I forget his name. Is he a David too? Is he a David Benavidez? Yeah, he says that he didn't even know that Eddie Reynoso was the manager. That makes no sense to me. If he's David's manager, and the way it works in boxing is a boxer cannot talk to the promoter. Only the managers can talk to the promoter, and they deal with money. They can't talk to the boxer directly. That all goes through between the managers. So if the managers are speaking, and there's a promoter involved, then he should know directly that Eddie is involved with Vozdek. So you know what I mean? Like that's.
Yeah, look, caller. There's a big disconnect here between what's going on. That's why I'm waiting to see what Canelo says before because it could be maybe they can raise the money at the last minute or something. Although Rick Glazer says that that's unlikely, so we shall see what happens. But this whole thing is a circus. It's turning into a joke, and people are looking for someone to blame, though. So that's what's interesting about this show is we're letting people voice their opinion. Well, listen, caller, we got to move on here, but thank you for your call and call back next time, right?
What's the caller's name? The caller's name? What's it?
Bad Girl TKO.
Bad
Girl TKO.
No, I heard you call before. Yeah, no, good call, man. You should call in more often. You always bring good takes.
All right, there you go. Shout out to you, Bad Girl TKO, and call back next time. Take it easy out there.
It's always refreshing to listen to a lady's voice, too.
That's right.
That's what I have to say.
Recognize
when a girl, especially when she knows what she's talking about. Sorry,
recognize sounds like a sailor who's been at sea for 2 years and hasn't.
Well, we have booty just and it's kind of the same thing,
Why am I being criticized for my nice comment? What's going on here?
Hey, but fellas, do me a favor and try to, if you're going to talk to the callers, do it one person at a time because I see that my connection here is, sometimes it borders on yellow, which means the caller's not going to hear you all that well. So we don't want everybody jumping in at the same time, all right? Please do me that favor. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. The call-in show today, the subject is the PBC going down under and is it Canelo's fault? And whatever else you want to talk about. All right, fellas? Now, let's go to our phone call here. Don't forget to hit the like. Hit the like. By the way, did I forget any super chats here? No? Okay, let's go to our phone call then. Let's go to 918. 918, you're on the air. 918, what's on your mind?
Oh, can y'all hear me?
Yes, 918, you're on the air. What's
Hello?
up?
Well, it's me, the majestic dyslexic Joe Biscuit. I just want to start off first while apologizing for any incomprehensible super chats I've left throughout the stream or past streams. ESL is a real unfortunate disease, so is dyslexia. But, sorry I came in late. I just want to first say that I do think the PBC is probably going down under. Like I doubt when I have my kids they're gonna know what the fuck the PBC was. Excuse my language, but as for whose fault was it that the fight didn't go through, it's Al Haymon. Jose Benavidez Sr., if I remember well, he's gone out and said before that he's not the one who the one who makes the fights is Al Haymon. The PBC is the one who controls who the hell fights who. If Benavidez is told, hey, you're going to fight, I don't know, David Morrell, he's fighting David Morrell. He's already come up. I remember there was a tweet he made a while back, either a video or a tweet, where he ended up apologizing to Canelo on calling him out. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. For those who do not know, Al Haymon and PBC, they're the ones who make the matches. So if Canelo isn't calling the shots, nor is David, then whose fault is it that they couldn't secure the money? And who's the one calling the shots? It's the PBC. It's all the PBC's fault, I'm going to be honest with you. Now, me personally, do I think Canelo's ducking Benavidez? I mean, maybe, maybe not. I don't know. No fight's really been announced. I mean, I personally think he's going to fight Charlo, but that's just me. That's just a hunch. That isn't really like a found upon anything. But that's really what I am with the Canelo situation. I mean, I really just don't really pay attention much to Canelo or the PBC as a whole, as my interests are elsewhere. Like, recently, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to think that Japan's probably going to go through another golden age of boxing. I mean, we recently saw Nakatani become a 3-weight division world champion, knocking out, what was it, Santiago? And in the same light, we saw Takuma or something like that, and Inoe's brother, improve a lot from where he once started. And right now, I think Japan has 10 world champions right now, spread across multiple divisions. I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like a golden age of Japanese boxing is going to happen, and we'll probably see more attention paid to the smaller divisions, which, I mean, seems to be what's happening, especially with Top Rank, pushing out undercards where, main events aren't even guys above, 135. So that's just my personal opinion. I think that's where we're sort of head.
Biscuit, you made up a good point about the Japanese card, because that is one. Nakatani looked sensational. He looks like he's going to be a terror, and that's what's being lost amongst this whole Canelo saga thing. That's what's being lost, is that Nakatani is looking like a great one. Also, another thing that's being lost is that Lord Jacob Rothschild just passed away, and from what I understand, his blood is going to be used to open one of the next seals, which will unleash the apocalypse. So we shall see what happens. But you brought up a good point there about the Japanese cards. Caller, a very good point. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
One last thing I will say, and this is probably the main reason why I thought, even before this all happened with the PBC, is why I thought it was going to flop, is if I remember well, Errol Spence and Crawford. I'm sorry, my brain's a little buzzed right now. I just came back from a flight 3 days ago, but Crawford and Spence, I don't think they even sold out the entirety of T-Mobile Arena. That was supposed to be a big fight. Everyone was supposed to watch it. I mean, I was deployed at that time, and I heard nobody say anything about it. And then when it came to UFC, even just a fight night, I was hearing, yo, so-and-so is fighting. Hey, yo, right now it's going to be Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. They're fighting. It's okay, well, I mean, no one's really caring about boxing right now, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I think they're overpaid. I'm going to be honest with you. I think a lot of these guys are overpaid. I think guys like Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Canelo even to an extent, I think a lot of these guys are overpaid. I mean, if they're not bringing in money, what's the point of paying these guys millions of dollars? A lot of people hate the UFC because, they don't pay their fighters much, but it's they pay them what they bring in. If they ain't bringing in crap, I mean, I'm sorry, you ain't going to get paid much. And a lot of people are going to say, well, that's a dangerous sport. Yeah, it is. But sports, unfortunately, is part of the entertainment industry. And the entertainment industry, if you don't entertain, you ain't getting paid. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. No, you're right, man. I mean, that's the whole one of the big problems with boxing right now, and everyone's overpaying. At least the Zone stopped doing it because they paid Mikey Garcia $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas a couple of years ago, but now they started to hold back on that because it's irresponsible, it's dangerous, and it's unconstitutional, if you ask me. Well, listen, caller, man, we got to move on. Thank you for your call, and Call back next time, man. Thank you. Take it easy out there.
Yes, sir. God bless y'all. Take care.
Same to you, man. I believe he says he's a veteran too, so shout out to him. Let's go to another phone call here. Hey, fellas, don't forget to hit the like. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. It really helps us out. Phone number's right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. This is a call-in show. Call in. Give us your thoughts on the fights or the drama that's ensuing. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 562. 562, you're on the air. 562. What's on your mind?
Yeah, man, this TY from Texas. Man, Canelo, the biggest duck in boxing, man. Nah, what's up, mediator Frank?
What's up, Frank?
Hey, man, let's break it down. It's like this, man. One of my favorite lines: "Fuck you, pay me." Your kid new shoes? Fuck you, pay me. This was a boss move. You know, a lot of these guys, they idolize Floyd. They idolize this guy Crawford. And what did Crawford do? What did they say? Oh, you at Master Bob. Then he pulls a move. Oh, yeah, he's great. Oh, my God, he's taking control of his career. Isn't that what they said?
You know what? That's a good point, because I'm stuck here thinking about how the fight ain't happening for the time being, at least as far as we know. So I'm disappointed with that. But you bring up a good point. Yeah, the hypocrisy from some people. You're absolutely right.
The hypocrisy and the agenda. BDA, you're a man of numbers. I know you have a channel, you do algorithm. The numbers support what Canelo's doing. I guess the rumor is now Eddie just doubled it, 50 mil. Come over here, you know. And these guys are calling in. They don't buy the fights. If these guys were so big PBC guys or Stank Davis guys, where's the numbers? Where's the Benavidez fans? These guys don't buy fights. They're bums, right? The numbers prove this man makes news. Your numbers go up. These other crybabies, their numbers go up. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, you're making a good point there, yeah, and that's the thing, though. Way too many people follow fighters' paybooks and go, oh, you know, this guy is getting paid this amount of money while your guy isn't. But I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, aren't we boxing fans? We're all supposed to want to see the best fight the best, but at the same time, if business is involved and a certain company offered a certain fighter a certain amount of money and then they can come up with it, I'm sorry, man, but I mean, I can't justify bad business practices either. It is what it is. I mean, I'd like to see the fights no matter how they happen, but yeah.
And just to bring it back to boxing, if we're going to get the fights, I mean, we're going to get Munguia, Berlanga, Benavidez. My prediction, I think, what it looks like the writing on the wall is if it does happen, it's going to be in Saudi Arabia. He says he wants to fight 3 times. Canelo's going to Saudi. I'm willing to bet on that. So, you know, Eddie Hearn has the connection. So, I mean, don't expect anything less. I mean, he's already done millions with Triple G. He did pretty good against Charlo. So, I mean, you just have to be a critical thinker, right? Like, what happened? What was more likely that they offered him? Because people say, oh, he wanted Charlo. No, that's what they offered him. Like, are we just brain dead? They offered the fights, and then they try to pull a fast one. So Canelo put a boss move and said, nah, fuck that. Like, I mean, don't you see it that way?
I mean, I don't know. I'm waiting for all the facts to come out, but this whole thing is turning into a sordid tale, which is not uncommon. Or rather, it is common in boxing.
It is. But good show. The haters are going to roll in. But look, man, I think we're going to get the fights, and we're going to get bigger and better fights. So it's going to happen.
Listen, with the PBC no longer, if they go away or become more irrelevant than they are now, that's one less stumbling block to make some of these fights. All right, listen, Frank.
And just one last thing, BDA. Just let me say one last thing. And for everybody crying for David's a fighter, and he needs to keep fighting. He needs to keep making noise. So let's not cry a river for this guy. You know, if his deal's up, he can go over. Other fighters, Wilder, Tank, they've all left PBC already. So this guy needs to keep fighting. So thank you, BDA. And
thank you, Frank.
Good rest of the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your call. Call back next time. All right, that was Frank Bay right there. Thank you, man. Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. It really helps us out. And we're just taking calls here. It's a call-in show. Make sure to call in. Before we return to the phone calls, anything you guys on the panel want to say? I don't want to keep you guys waiting too much here. If anybody wants to chime in on something so far, something that you might have heard from the callers, piqued your interest?
Nope.
No? All right.
I'm good. I mean, let's keep them callers calling.
There you go, man. Let's
see
keep
what
this
the
train.
public has to say.
There you go. Let's keep this train rolling. Let's go to 915. 915, you're on the air. 915, what's on your mind?
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Absolutely, 915, loud and clear. What's up?
Yeah, bro. I mean, what can I say? I think we should all be mad at the Benavidez management team, bro. Like, this isn't the first time. What's his manager's name? The fucking cheap bootleg wannabe narco-looking motherfucker.
You're talking about Samson.
It's not the first time he tweets out. It's not the first time he tweets out fake stuff, bro. I believe he did the same thing when Canelo beat Charlo. He had said that he spoke to Eddie Reynoso after the fight, and that Benavidez was in talks. Then Eddie shuts that shit down, and they take down the tweets. What happens again? They said he offered Canelo $50 million. That shit was fake, and that shit got taken down.
Well, caller, let me ask you this,
like I said,
man.
you need to be mad at the management team, bro.
Yeah, because I wanted to bring that up. Because look, I hate to. I want to see Benavidez and Canelo. I want to see that fight. I want to see that more than Canelo Crawford, which is what some people were throwing out there. But at the same time, Benavidez signed an exclusive deal either with the PBC or Showtime. That's what I'm unclear on. And so if that deal sticks, that means he is in a cage now. If Canelo leaves and he's stuck over there. So is that what you're saying, that Benavidez deserves some kind of blame for having re-signed this deal?
Yeah, but I mean, look, bro, how fucking dumb can you be not to know Vosdick belongs to Eddie Reynoso, and on top of that, he's fighting for a vacant WBC interim belt to fight Bivol, a matchroom, and a Beterbiev, a top rank? Like, that motherfucker's not getting that fight. He's in the same boat, just at 75 and not at 68, bro. His management team sucks.
I mean, yeah, there's
somebody. If he beats, he's gonna beat Vosdick. He's gonna beat Vosdick, and he's not gonna get the Beterbiev Bivol fight, bro.
I mean, I'll just put it this way. When I was back in Nam, all right, hey caller man, you got a lot of background noise there. When I was in Vietnam, we used to have a saying. What's the most important thing? 3 things. Communication, communication, communication. The lines of communication break, so do the ranks, and the war is lost. So the fact that there's a disconnecting communication between Jose Benavidez Sr., David Benavidez, and Samson Lewkowicz, and then Al Haymon on top of that, something weird's going on here. And I don't like it. Anything else you want to say?
Another thing, bro. Another thing.
Sure.
David Morrell, y'all remember there was a supposed contract sent to Morrell to fight David Benavidez?
Mm-hmm.
That was actually true, bro. Not too long ago, I have a buddy in the Discord that went and interviewed Morrell's manager at the Berlanga fight this past weekend. And he told him that is true. We did sign that fucking contract. The problem was that the contract didn't have a date, but we signed it. Then after that, that's when David said that nobody told him anything and the fight was scrapped. Like, that communication shit, bro, that's real.
Absolutely.
They need to get rid of his manager, and they need to leave PBC ASAP. Because I think they're doing David wrong.
That's one of the things some people were saying in the open lines. Though, bro. All right, man. Thank you for your call, 915. Call back next time. Thank you for your time. Take it easy out there.
I love the descriptor of the bootleg narco.
Well, I mean, Benavidez, I hate to cast the blame on fighters, because, we have this image of fighters giving it their all, especially a guy like Benavidez who makes entertaining fights. But it's true, man. I mean, Jose, his father doesn't know, he claims to negotiate with Gvozdyk, but then he doesn't know that Reynoso is his manager. They can't get to Al Haymon, apparently. I mean, I don't know. That's what I hear. That's why they got Samson Lewkowicz to act as an intermediary. And then Lewkowicz says one thing, and it seems like it's a mess. How can you be a professional fighter and expect to have a great career when you don't have all your ducks in a row?
Well, and let's be honest, man. You don't even have to know boxing to look at Sam Lewkowicz and get a greasy, creepy fucking vibe from him. Like, he's that dude you see at the bar, and girls make sure they don't leave their drink unattended. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest, man. He's slipping the fucking happy pills. Come on.
Oh, man. All right, listen, I don't want to cast aspersions on people based on their look. But listen, I will say this. Jimmy's got a good, he knows how to read people. That's all I'm going to say. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like. This is a call-in show, so make sure to call in. Let's go to another phone call. Let's go to 323. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's on your mind?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, 323, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, man? You know what? I got a couple of things to say, but first let me start off with saying, I think it's time for PBC to kind of leave this game because, I don't know, man. I mean, we know for years that this fucking company has just been putting so many fucking barriers for all the promoters to work together with him. I mean, Al Haymon, man, what have you? I don't even know who the dude is. All I see is one freaking picture on the internet where he's looking up in the sky. I don't know who this dude is. I never even seen him speak once. I mean, he's not out there, representing his company. Yeah, he has these old clowns like Ellerby and Mayweather, talking great about PBC this, PBC that, but you know what I mean? Who's the head of this supposedly big company, PBC? Who's the head person? You know what I mean? So at the same time, it's like, so they try to build this company up for so many years, and they just kind of make enemies with these other promoters. I mean, you got Matchroom now and Golden Boy working together. They're doing this Haney Garcia fight, which is awesome, which is going to generate quite a lot of money. We both know that, right? But at the same time, it's like it could be done with other promoters, even Top Rank. Look at them; they're working with all these other promoters as well. So, I mean, it's a shame that this has to happen, but at the same time, shit karma happens. Like I said, someone called earlier and said that this is bound to happen because karma comes back, and we know what they did. They did a lot of dirty shit in the past, and this is coming back to bite them in the ass.
Well, you know
what,
you
agree or not?
Yeah, caller. That's one thing. One of the earlier callers said you're right, and the other thing is Leonard Ellerby, who's essentially PBC, he was bragging about it during the Garcia Tank Davis promotion. He's like, "Yeah, we took all your fighters." He was telling that to De La Hoya, and I'm thinking, why would somebody admit something so perfidious in front of the whole world? Because that's what they think. They think that's good. They look at that as, yeah, man, that's business savvy, as opposed to that's some low bullshit right there.
Do you remember when he? Do you remember, like, maybe, I don't know how long it was, maybe, it had to be like maybe a year back or a couple of years, whatever. He was calling the zone the dead zone. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
He was so against an app. You remember this?
Absolutely.
And look at what they're at now. No more Showtime. You know what I mean? Now they're kind of struggling to where they're going to have their fights. I mean, come on, let's be serious. Prime? Ain't nobody going to watch fucking fights on Prime. All right? I'll watch a movie. I'll watch a series. I mean, I don't think it's going to appeal to a great audience like Showtime Boxing, HBO Boxing, The Zone. These companies have, they have a long history of making these type of events.
There you go, man. That's a great point right there, man. It's look, I wanted the PBC to succeed. I want to see more boxing, but at some point, if these people are just intent on screwing everything up, and part of that is because they don't give a shit about us, the fans, then guess what? Hit the road, Jack. I don't need this type of the hijinks. Caller, we gotta move on, man. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, thank you, man. And you know what? Thanks for taking my call and keep up the good work.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate the call. Call back next time, man. Take it easy.
Okay.
All right, fellas, don't forget to hit the like. It really helps us out. And don't forget to call in. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. I'd like to read a super chat here. Always, people, this is a grassroots movement over here. We do survive based on your donations, like the PBS. And we hope to bring you excellent, fantastic, high-quality products in the future, as we always do. Shout out to Bray IDK for his contribution to the super chat. He says, Al Haymon is a druid. Whoa. Al Haymon is a druid that spends all his time at Bohemian Grove. I mean, hey, something tells me you might see him at Lord Jacob Rothschild's funeral. Then that's all I'll say about that. Shout out to Bray IDK for his contribution with the super chat. Now, let me ask you guys this. Or actually, let me say this. Make a little statement. The previous caller said, let's get serious. I agree. I think it's time we got serious because it's been boxing has had too much of a loose, lax attitude lately, with people allowing the rules to be broken. Clinching is allowed. Hey, it's a sweet science. And you know what? I blame you guys too, the panelists. We've been having too much fun on this show. It's a little too jokey. No, not anymore, man. We got to get serious here. We got to get in line. We got to get disciplined. So expect some directives from my end about how I'm going to keep you guys in shape, all right? But let's get back to business. When it comes to this whole... Okay, so can anybody... What did you make of the callers then? We had some different opinions. Some people are blaming Canelo. Some people are blaming the PBC. What did you guys think of the call so far?
Thought they were all right. You know, like predictable. They were pretty predictable. You know, some were on Canelo's side and some are against Canelo. They're blaming him. I just look at it for what it is, man. I mean, it's a business first and foremost. You know, Canelo is a businessman. He's a multi-millionaire. So if you can't show him the money, he's not interested. And I can't blame him because I wouldn't be interested either.
There you go. All right, but that wasn't a glowing endorsement of the phone calls they recognized. I just gotta tell you, maybe you should spruce it up a little bit next time. Yeah, you should say they were fantastic. You were like, yeah,
you know, hey. 7, man. I give him a 7. A 7.
All right.
Give him a 7.
Good. All right, good. Let's go back to another phone call then. Let's see if you can recognize. All right, 832. I don't want to put you on the spot, but it is what it is. 832. You're on the air. 832. What's on your mind?
All right. Listen, I know the title says something about Cinnamon Boy, right? I don't care what he does, right? It's not about him, right? I didn't call about that dude, right? But yo, is Jimmy there?
Jimmy's right here. Yes.
All right, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
what's up, man?
Listen, I want to talk about because I heard the last episode, right? And I've been hearing you for a while now that you're very high on Abdullah Mason, right? And I am too, right? Listen, I think there's two dudes who would beat the absolute dog shit out of Lomachenko. I think it's one of them is Abdullah Mason and the other one is Andy Cruz. What do you think about that?
Right now, no, I would not like. Especially if he gets a little more seasoning. He's just too young. His punches are too snappy. He's got the length. He's built like Tommy Hearns, Hitman Hearns. He's got that punches frame. So I'm really high on Abdullah Mason. If the sport doesn't crumble, under the weight of its own fuckery, I really like to see how far this kid can go because I think he might be a guy to watch. So yeah, I agree. Lomachenko's too old right now. It's too many battles.
Andy? Yo,
I like Andy Cruz. I just don't know enough about him. I haven't watched enough of his fights like I have Abdullah Mason.
Mm-hmm. Yo, Andy Cruz is a 3-time medalist, a gold medalist. I think Lomachenko's a 2-time. Yo, Andy Cruz is legit. Yeah, definitely.
I still haven't.
I think those two would give a.
Sorry to interrupt, Stray G, but I didn't see the Andy Cruz fight last Saturday. People said he was boring. How did he perform?
No, he busted the dude's face up. Like that dude's face got bloodied real quick, like in 2 rounds. And I think that dude caught on to you know how Lomachenko and a lot of fighters, they like to pivot on their opponents, right? Catch angles on them. And Andy Cruz was doing it really good, but this dude just kind of ran. He basically ran. He ran. They even asked Andy Cruz it's not. They told him it's not very often you see a Mexican start to run in a fight, and that dude just ran. It was like a Jermaine Ortiz, but worse, at one point. But even then, it's still Andy beating the shit out of him, bro.
That's what I dislike about this new globalization thing and NAFTA and all that, because it does bring that ass style into Mexico, and all of a sudden some Mexicans think it's okay to fight. But it's interesting. I want to watch this fight now, because if it was Cuban style versus ass style, the American slick style, then of course I'm going to be interested in that to see how the Cuban style was able to counter that. Straight G, man, we got to move on, man. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
That's about it, actually. Yeah. I just want to get Jimmy's thoughts real quick. All right, but y'all be cool, man. Y'all be cool.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you for your call. Take it easy out there. All right. So, and by the way, I just checked, and Andy Cruz won the gold medal in the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo, but he did not win in any. He did not medal in any other Olympics. I don't even know if he went to any other Olympics. Apparently, he only went to that one Summer Olympics. So, but even then, hey, still winning a gold medal, man. I mean, that's the pinnacle of amateur boxing. Switching gears here a little bit, I do wanna Haymonites on Twitter. Shout out to Haymonites. He made this meme. I'm gonna try not to stay serious here. Okay, so he says, which scenario is more likely? And you see here Jermall Charlo at the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota. He says, I'd like to thank the following people for helping me make it into the Hall of Fame. Okay, so what's more likely, this scenario or scenario B, which is, hold on a second, being escorted out of a Walmart by police, and he says, I installed shit. I scanned every item. The machine must be broken. So you guys let us know which scenario is most likely or more likely, that he's going to make it to Canastota or that he's going to be dragged.
I'll say B. B's more likely.
I say B too. I didn't see that yet. Was that today?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, fucking, I scanned every item.
Let me start off by saying, let me start off by saying, I don't condone that. I don't condone that kind of talk, right? But
I know, man.
It was funny.
Somebody's got to give Haymonites a good talking to, because this type of stuff is unacceptable, especially in this day and era. But what else was I going to say, man? Oh, yeah. So this brings us to another thing. Again, we're talking about Canelo versus the saga. He's leaving. And again, he hasn't made an official announcement yet, so hold your breath on that one. But according to Rick Glazer and other sources, they're saying that he is going to leave because the PBC failed to secure the money. In other words, the PBC failed. And now people are trying to twist it. Azzy in the Discord calls Steven Espinoza Spin-Oza. He's just trying to spin everything. But here's something that Cali X, Cali X on Twitter. He also has a YouTube show. He made a good point earlier today. He said, how is Rick Glazer better at breaking huge stories than dudes who are paid to break huge stories? A conversation needs to be had about how incredibly terrible the boxing media is currently. It seems impossible to me that Glazer got the two biggest stories to break in recent boxing history before these journalists did. It's an interesting question to ask. It's an interesting point to highlight. I mean,
if someone is actually doing reporting, they're actually interested in doing reporting, and the others are not.
Yeah, he's not looking to shill for access like the other guys. Even if they heard that, I can't say that because then I won't be allowed to talk. I mean, like Jake Donovan. Let's look at boxing scene, who I guess was sold when Showtime clearly got our boxing. They sold him to Pro Box Talk or whatever. Sold a boxing scene, but Jake Donovan and those guys. I mean, come on, they were swinging from the PBC's nuts from the day they got in bed with Showtime. It is what it is, and. They got embarrassed. I mean, he hung out with the Chicken Talk crew. And look how that blew up in his face. Lay down with dogs, you wake up scratching your nuts.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he would associate with those Chicken Talk guys, but then call Teofimo Lopez racist because he said that ESPN was favoring Afro-Anglos over him and other fighters. I mean, which again, that's an observation. He's not saying anything racist. He's saying something racial, but not racist. So it boggles the mind how some people, how hypnotized some people are. But here's the other thing about that point that Cali X made, because Michael Benson's another guy that breaks big news and all that, but he's also another guy that I got to question his outlook, because if you look at most of his tweets, it's all reports say. So he's just reporting things that are being rumored and all that. He rarely gives subjective views. So I looked at his Twitter line, and again, it's all objective news. Then all of a sudden, one of them finally subjective, and it's this one. He says, I have to see who Canelo Alvarez fights next before we can really judge, but the Dimitri Bivol defeat may have well changed his attitude to future career planning. He certainly seems more risk-averse since that loss, and it appears that gone are the days of free agent Canelo running through champion after champion. Understandable at this stage of his career, but still 2018, 2021, Canelo was special. And I'm thinking, why is he choosing to highlight, or no, not highlight, but he's suggesting that Canelo Alvarez is afraid now, even though we don't know what's going on. He very well could have tried to fight Benavidez, but the PBC screwed it up, as we suspected they would, but he has no thoughts on that. Instead, he wants to question whether Canelo still wants to fight the best, which, I mean, he can do that, but at least question this whole PBC debacle as well, which he's not doing. He's choosing to use his subjective points to question Canelo as opposed to question the PBC. And I think that goes to Cali X's point about why are some people afraid of pissing off the PBC?
Well, because they know they get just the fucking door slammed in their face, like no access to, and PBC has a majority. Well, they did for American fighters, and you say anything negative, they just cut you off. And I think they recently have done that to Dan Raphael, because out of nowhere he kind of said, "What's going on?" No, he actually highlighted. If you actually look at what's going on in the PBC, they have nothing scheduled. They don't have anything that's not behind the paywall until June. So, does it even make it to June? I don't know. But Mike Benson, what he does is he basically takes snippets and highlights of everybody else's work, and he just happens to put it out. And because he has a large following on Twitter, it gets retweeted, and a lot of things get attributed to him, when in actuality, he's just, borrowing somebody else's work.
Interesting. Yeah, because, why wouldn't you question? And that's the other thing is, a lot of people are saying, the PBC, this comes to us as a surprise. Like, how does it come to you as a surprise? You couldn't see the signs? I worry about some of these people, by the way. The fact that they couldn't see, and I worry more about the people that were told the signs, and they still refuse to admit that the fact that the PBC was deteriorating and continues to deteriorate. So, I don't know, man. I want to see more boxing. I want the PBC to succeed, but come on, man. At some point, you can wish upon a star, and it ain't going to happen. Let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 805. 805, you're on the air. 805, what's on your mind?
Bro, Jimmy.
Jeez Louise. All right, 805, you're on the air, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch up on a few things. When is you guys are talking about Jermall Charlo being Hall of Fame? Right. When is that dude gonna fight Tim? That dude's a threat in his own division. Or when is he gonna finally move up and fight guys his own size, like Johnny Back or who's that other guy? Who's that guy? Other guy at 160?
Yeah, Johnny Back.
Felix Cash or some shit like that.
Oh, Felix. Well, I don't think that guy's fought in 2 years. Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Don't you think Charles is enjoying his Canelo payday?
Yeah, they're all chasing it, dude. Let's be real. You're acting like David Benavidez isn't in the stacked division right now. There's a lot of people in 168, and that guy decides to move up. And let's be real, he doesn't want the smoke with Beterbiev or Bivol. But that's another issue that we have, is that we got everybody held to a different standard. You got Bivol ducking a prime Russian Wolverine, and no one wants to talk about that shit.
Well, aren't they fighting in June?
Wait, but aren't they fighting in June? Yeah, I was going to say that. Aren't they fighting in June?
He's going to be a grandpa in June, isn't he?
You're talking about Beterbiev.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, he's like 39 years old.
I will say this, Bivol sort of broke the mold when it comes to Russian fighters, because the book on Eastern European fighters was, these guys are sportsmen, they don't really care about the money that much, blah, blah. Bivol is the first one that came out, or one of the first ones who finally said, well, I want more money to fight Beterbiev, which is understandable. I wouldn't want to fight Beterbiev for peanuts either, yeah.
Well, to be fair, no one knew who the fuck either of those guys were before Bivol fought Canelo. And then when he fought Canelo, he wanted even more money to fight the Russian Wolverine.
Yeah, it's those whole negotiations made me wonder. Maybe
I can't blame him.
Yeah, maybe Bivol with the wife thing, right? Supposedly, rumor is he was using his wife as a punching bag, so maybe he needed the money for a payout, the incoming payout that he's going to have to shell out. I don't know. All I know is I'm glad that fight's happening. But you're right, though. There are people... Well, go ahead, Amok.
Yeah, this should have happened a few years ago. I'm kind of... That was actually the fight I was looking forward more compared to Usyk and Fury, to be honest.
I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I'm with you. And that's why I said I don't want to be a party pooper, but just like with Crawford Spence, that fight, I mentioned it a couple of times in the build-up to the fight that I wish it would have happened in 2019. This is a bit of a letdown. It's the same thing with Bivol Beterbiev. Beterbiev is almost 40 now. I can only wonder how the fight would have... if the fight happens, I'm going to be happy, but at the same time, I'm going to be thinking, man, how would this have looked 3-4 years ago? It's just what it is. It's a reality.
Yeah, prime. Yeah.
All right. Well, Amok, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah. When is Mal gonna fight somebody? You know, is he still living in the Willy Wonka cash ticket, or is he gonna fight Tim? Is he gonna fight Crawford or like Johnny Beck, or what is he doing? Is he semi-retired, or what the hell's up with that guy?
I don't think we're gonna see him anytime soon, which is a shame because I've always enjoyed watching Charlo fight for the most part. He brought the knockouts and he fought everybody at 154, and right now he's just enjoying that Canelo money that he earned. That he cashed in, because I don't know if he really earned it running around the ring.
Cashed it in. He cashed
it in. Yeah.
I just want to say, because I see someone lurking in the shadows in the chat, I want to know his explanation or his fallacy or whatever, why Benavidez didn't fight Morrell.
All right.
I'm sure he's going to call in.
Yeah, we'll try to. I don't know if you're talking.
All right, well.
All right, I'm like, thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man? We'll try to get that person on. We'll try to make dreams come true.
Thank you,
Mr. Right,
China number one. China number one.
China number. What are you talking about, man? All right, don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. Let's go to our phone call. Let's go to 713. 713, you're on the air. 713, what's on your mind?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm from Houston. I go to watch the fights at these local places, bomb shows, locals and whatnot. Anyway, I was a little bit pro PBC around the time that Andy Reese Jr. knocked out Anthony Joshua. Everybody gave up on Andy Reese Jr. except the PBC that let him go do his thing in New York, Madison Square Garden. And as far as the zone, as far as Canelo leaving again for the zone, I think it's a money thing. I don't think he was afraid of anybody at the PBC. David Benavidez, to me, I keep saying that he fights like Antonio Margarito. I'm not sure. I'm not saying he fights with loaded gloves. That's my disclaimer. He's too stand up. He's actually almost like a European fighter. Benavidez and Andrade, I looked up earlier. They did 60K or 70K pay-per-view buys. And with Charlo, the male, and Canelo, they did like 650, 700, 750 pay-per-view buys. So to me, it's a money situation. I don't think PBC has the money to pony up to pay out Canelo. He does command. He should get paid more because he brings the fans. But I don't think Benavidez is. He doesn't have no star power. He's not like a Pacquiao. Well, the fight's not even considered a Crawford versus Spence fight. It's not considered a Mayweather versus Pacquiao fight. Benavidez, they just want to see Canelo lose, right, to the PBC side. That's my take on it. But as far as, and there was another thing I want to say. He stole like a bunch of Golden Boy fighters. They didn't steal. They got up under him. They got his fighters. So it's just karma, man. What goes around comes around. And I mean, I'm surprised people don't talk about that. That's my opinion. I enjoy your show, man. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your call, and thank you for keeping it concise, terse, and yeah, man, good call. Yeah, man. I mean, that some people did bring that up, but it's true, man. I mean, it's I think I was talking to Jimmy about this one time when people go, "Oh, it's just business." Well, business doesn't happen in an alternate reality where the rules of morality don't apply anymore. And I mean, I know, yeah, morality is flexible in business, but at the same time, if you screwed somebody over, you screwed somebody over. And that's essentially what the PBC did with De La Hoya. And that's the other thing about the PBC. Some people are still trying to defend the PBC. Oh, the PBC is not failing. The PBC is doing okay. They stole a great deal of fighters, a great number, about, 200 from the Golden Boy stable? And what did they do with it? Did they develop any new stars with it? Did they create any stars? No. The fact is, Al Haymon, and this was written about in a Thomas Hauser article, the guy refuses to delegate, but at the same time, like Jimmy's been saying, the guy doesn't know anything about boxing. Al Haymon is not a boxing guy. In fact, Jimmy has been saying that he probably believes Al Haymon hates boxing. The way he's been directing his company sometimes, it seems like he's intent on running it into the ground or running the sport into the ground because he's making his money. Because he's an advisor. He's not a promoter. He's an advisor. So, yeah, man, I mean, listen, this whole thing about stealing the fighters, it really didn't help them all that much in the long term. They still screwed it up. Danny Garcia is old. Errol Spence is finished. Wilder is old. Tank Davis is the only one guy that approaches stardom. And what's he doing? He's fighting Frank Martin, a pay-per-view it would be lucky if it hits 300,000 pay-per-view buys. So it is what it is, man. Don't forget to hit the like, fellas. Hit the like. Really helps us out. The phone number is right there in the left-hand middle portion of your screen. Now, let me, because we can't take phone calls from overseas, unfortunately, with this, system that we have. So we can't take phone calls from, let's say, Germany, England, I don't know, let's say Australia. So let's go to Australia right now. Here on the Discord, we got Mirage jumping in. Mirage, we're talking about the whole Canelo PBC debacle. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's interesting news, BDO. Hang on. So the real fact of the matter here, we can drop the cap. We get to the real talk. The real fact is David Benavidez ran Canelo out of the PBC. That's what happened. Ran him out of town like a scalded cat. He ran to Uncle Eddie to protect him from the Mexican monster. That's what happened. That's the facts.
It's a very interesting tale right there, let me tell you. High octane drama that's been going on.
He missed the diet of the zone cans. He missed that diet. He loves the taste of that, and Eddie's going to feed him a whole bunch. He's got him lined up. Berlanga, Munguia. They're going to drag up Eubank. Let's throw him in. Maybe Conor Ben. Maybe he's got a shot as well.
Hey, maybe you get a shot.
It's all about the cash, easy money.
Mirage, are you saying that Canelo running to Uncle Eddie proves that he's Irish?
What?
Could be a confirmation. I always suspected it. This was always. Okay. This is a fraudulent Mexican cabron, not the real deal. And now he's ran off because if he had the chance to prove it, the Mexican showdown. It was all there. It was there. Benavidez on the table. Just do it. No.
Just to correct you, the cabrón is usually more like idiot or somebody that's hard-headed. I think puta, it's like bitch. I think that's what the word you're going for. Or
but Canelo calls himself the cabrón.
Right, but the cabrones could also be considered like a hard-headed type of person. It's not necessarily. Yeah, if you're talking about somebody that's scared. Well, anyway, you get my point. I also wanted to ask you. I didn't even know about this, but I've been listening. I listen to Black and Brown when I have the chance. Very good show. And I remember I heard you a couple of weeks ago. They had Rick Glazer on, and you jumped in right off the bat, and you started saying, "Hey, Rick, wherever you go, I go." Like you turned to Shannon Briggs, and he said, "Get this guy off the panel." And he have you tried tracking him down in any other show, or is that it? Like you just accepted the fact that he doesn't want to talk?
I cornered him before, but now he's got a rule. He won't let me on the panel. So he's dealt. Check this out. He's dealt with all the heavies in the boxing world for like 30 years, all the big time dudes, but he can't deal with me. That's the reality. He can't.
Is it true you called him an Italian?
Protected himself.
Look at you. Look at Mirage over here, boy.
He's protected himself. He's got rules because he knows I'll just cook him. He knows I'll keep it real. But anyway, he finally got something right, half right. Now, of course, he's going to be all over the internet. Because
Mirage, I think you're getting a little full of yourself, man. You're starting to get a little too arrogant.
Just a little bit.
I reckon I deserve it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's. I mean, if you go out there and you insult somebody, and then they say, I don't want to be with this person anymore. I mean, I don't know. He says, I don't know if you should be tipping your hat at yourself because you were insufferable to the guy.
But anyway, this Canelo Benavidez fight's gone. Forget about it.
Well, not for nothing, but if you remember, but if you remember when we were talking about that during the open lines, and I forget which one exactly, because with you, this subject came up every time. But, we were talking about, well, why didn't the fight happen into 2023? And I said, we failed to count the X factor, which was the PBC entering the equation. They're the ones, it seems, that are screwing things up.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah.
Okay. It wasn't the argument they're on the wrong side of the street. So coming to the PBC should have made it easier and sealed the deal. So then this whole narrative, they can't afford the fight. Okay, I'm confused. How can you not afford to make the biggest fight in the sport that's likely going to do 1 million pay-per-view? How do you not afford that? That pays for itself.
Because that's the
what
thing.
What am I missing here?
That's the thing, Mirage. If Canelo has a contract with the PBC and they say, look, you got to get the money in the escrow account before this date or on this date, and they don't, that shows him that he doesn't deserve, that company deserves no confidence because they couldn't come up with the money. But your logic seems
escrow?
to be...
Why would he demand an escrow?
Hold on,
have
let me
PBC
finish.
Never paid a fighter? Don't they overpay fighters? Now you can't trust them and you need to escrow it?
But Mirage, that's the thing.
They
Mirage,
don't.
Oh, go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
I was going to say, no, they don't normally pay. Certain fighters would get that. It depends on who you are. Canelo's been that way since way before Triple G. When he signs a big fight, he wants half in escrow before he enters camp. And that's worked into his contracts, and they knew that.
How do we know that?
They knew that going in.
How do we know that, Jimmy? How the
because
fuck
he wouldn't 3-fight deal. You can't just break a contract without being, there's ramifications for that. Like, he could get his ball suit off him. Like, he would not be able to go fight with the zone because he's still contractually obligated to the PBC unless the PBC didn't reach or were non-committal to something that they agreed upon. And Rick, who has been vindicated thoroughly through this, has said from day one it's been about the money. He's got his connections, and they've been telling him the money's not there. And we've had people even call the show. Listen, I want the Benavidez fight, so you're not getting me here on this. I'm not making excuses, but I'm just telling you, we're just talking about the facts, pragmatically speaking. And if the money wasn't there, the money wasn't there. And we had people even call us that, well, Canelo should put up his own money, which was crazy.
What about if the money's not there for that fighter? What about a clause in the contract that both parties have to agree on the opponent? And if they can't agree, either party can walk away. Why wouldn't that be in the contract? And Canelo was demanding Charlo. PBC said, we're not going to pay you for that. And they're just separated. What's wrong with that? Doesn't that make sense?
Well, yeah, I think that's something. It went along something like that. I believe Charlo was the one who was told to him who was going to be next. But if they changed it, Canelo being Canelo obviously would have first right of refusal. Meaning like, yeah, no, I'm not taking that fight. That's not the fight I'm looking for. You know, who's to say the intricacies go BDA?
Well, that's why that confuses me because people are trying to blame Canelo for this. And now the other report is that supposedly Canelo was insisting on the Charlo fight. But that's the thing, though. If he was insisting on the Charlo fight, then that means the Charlo fight was already in the contract beforehand. So why, like you said, why would the PBC all of a sudden try to change it? Either way, again, I'm against a Charlo fight. That would have been a waste of time. And just like Charlo Yildirim and just like Canelo Yildirim and Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, I would not have watched that fight live. I wouldn't have bought it either as well. But the point remains, a contract's a contract. If that's what was in the contract, and all of a sudden PBC can't come up with the money for it, that's on them. Why sign this dude who you know you're going to have to pay boku money if you can't uphold the promise? It's insanity.
Yeah. It could also mean Canelo simply chose to fight Charlo as well. Doesn't mean it was in the contract. Could have just look at David. David was trying to fight Munguia. Morel was thrown up. Andre. Now he's fighting Gvozdyk. It's up in the air. There's no signed name specifically. It's probably okay. You're going to pay you, then we'll work out the fighter. They were going to work out the Charlo fight.
Shout out to Amak PVP.
Stone, I don't think.
Shout out to Amak PVP for his contribution with the Super Chat. He says, Mirage wants to be a cholo with dreads. David is his king. Well, wait a minute. Well, first of all, shout out to Amak PVP for that contribution. But just remind me, Mirage, are you more of a Benavidez fan or a Canelo hater?
I'm a Benavidez fan.
Okay, there you go. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Nothing about hating Canelo. That's a result. That's a result of his bullshit that he's doing.
All right.
That's gone, man.
How do you feel about taking a couple of phone calls here? I think some people want to talk to you here. You up for that?
Bring them on.
Bring them on. All right. Let's go. Well, let's see if they want to talk to you. I don't know if I posted the message that we have you on the panel if they want to talk to you. So hopefully they have some comments for you. Yeah. Let's go to 818. You're on the air. 818. What's on your mind?
Hey, BDA, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, so Mirage is a stupid fucking fanboy. All the evidence points towards the fact that Team Benavidez never really had any true
You better have
intentions
my
of
money.
making
You
a
better
fight
have my
with
money.
Canelo. Hey, shut your bitch ass up, man. When a man speaks, you shut the fuck up, all right? You had your turn to talk. Now a man is speaking, you shut the fuck up. And you know what? Benavidez Sr. recently has come out. He had an interview on Twitter where he admitted that Canelo's team did reach out to him, offered him $5 million to make the fight. And I don't care if people want to say, oh, that's not enough, okay? But Benavidez Sr. himself has gone on record to say they don't care about the money. They're all about legacy. So they're looking real bad. They're contradicting themselves. Samson
They
himself
accepted the $5 million.
recently...
He accepted the $5 million.
So, hold on.
He said
I'm
he
not
accepted
finished.
it.
I'm not finished. Samson himself recently went on Pro Box in Espanol, and he had I know you don't understand Spanish, so you're ignorant to this. Let me educate your bitch ass, Mirage. He admitted there in Spanish that he has not reached out to Mauricio Suleiman to activate his mandatory position for David Benavidez. And the reason he says that is because, I don't want to ask him that favor. It's not a favor. It's your right. You have the right to do that. They don't want to do it. He said they are satisfied with the interim belt. So all evidence points towards, if anyone's ducking, it's Benavidez. And if he doesn't, this next fight at 175, that's his last fight on the 3-fight deal with PBC. If he re-signs with the PBC, I don't want to hear no more Canelo's ducking. I don't want to hear that stupid shit. What do you have to say to that, bitch?
I have to say that I'm expecting my money by the end of the year because we made a bet that if Canelo doesn't fight him by September, you're going to cough up the cash.
We said
I'm
if Canelo
you to be a
ducks
man.
him. We said if Canelo
You start
ducks
working
him.
overtime,
Canelo's
saving up
not
those
ducking
bickies
him.
to hand over.
Canelo's not ducking him,
dog
bro.
Don't.
Canelo's not ducking.
Okay, so Canelo was with the PBC. He's with the PBC. He chose to fight a 154 pounder. Now he leaves the PBC, but David's ducking. Berlanga wants to fight. Belanga's begging for the fight. Munguia's begging. They're all begging, but David's the one who's ducking.
Everyone's
really?
begging.
Is anybody
what's your
buying
point?
this nonsense? So the idea that David is ducking Canelo is laughable.
It's not Canelo's fault that the PBC doesn't have the money to pay him to fight over there with them. That's not a duck, you idiot. You want Canelo to fight for free? What the fuck are you on,
Canelo
man?
can't generate the money to put for the fight. What do you think the
There must
pay-per-view
be
would have been for
something
Canelo
in the
Benavidez?
water over there in Australia, man. But you're definitely not making no fucking sense.
All right, well, listen. Listen, hold on. We got to get to other phone calls here, but shout out to the boxing scientist.
All right, man.
Thank you for your call, man.
I want my money.
Check out the boxing scientist channel.
All right, thanks.
The lab, the boxing lab. Shout out to you, the boxing scientist. Take it easy, other man. Thank you for your call.
All right.
All right, man. All right, as you can see, apparently there's some sort of a wager that was made between him and Mirage. We don't get involved in that. All right, let's go to another phone call here. Let's go to 419. 419, you're on the air, and we got the one and only Mirage here if you want to talk to him. 419, what's up?
Hey, what's up, BDA?
What's up, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Oh, is this T-Tone?
Yeah, hey. Yeah, it's T-Tone.
Oh, T-Tone, what's up, man?
Yeah, hey, just, giving my vouching on the PBC and, really can't say nothing to Mirage because he's boxing stupid, so he wouldn't understand, Well, he's a hater. He's always just talking junk.
I mean, I agree. He might be a hater, but
he's as smart as Frosty without his hat.
Come on.
To put it that way.
Wait a minute. I'm not going to let you besmirch our guest that way, T-Tone, but you certainly have the right to have your say because it's your phone call, man. What's up?
Yeah, hey, just talking about the PBC, what I was going to say is, I think the money's there, man. The PBCs just don't want to pay it. I mean, they want to keep a lot of it. And Canelo knows what he gets for his fights, man. If Canelo could fight, a champion, anyone, it's going to be big money. So who knows what it is? We can't get the final thing till, we hear from Canelo. So all this is just talk, wondering what's going on and stuff.
I agree, man. I agree. We need to get all our facts here before
PBC, the money's there, man. The money's there. You just got to throw up the tent, invite people over. The people are coming for Canelo and going to pay the money. The money's there every fight. Canelo knows what he's worth. And then they can all try to put this and that. But we'll see how it works out.
All right, man. Yeah, we shall see. Yes.
Yeah, and look at there was a caller that was there talking about, heck yeah, this is a big time for Japanese boxing. A lot of champions coming in and out. Hey, and just reminding, a lot of the younger boxing fans out there, this is back in 2019, 2020. They had the first place in champions was United States with 400 champions. The second place was Mexico with 200 champions. And I can't remember third or fourth place. But those are big accomplishments. But the big thing is half the champions from America are Mexican Americans.
Oh,
so, that who's running this? The people love, the Mexican people love their boxing. That Munguia fight will be a big fight. How the people spend their money. And, hey, just bring back an old memory. Remember when Tyson went to jail? They asked John King and Bob Arum, what are they going to do? And John King grabbed the little Mexican flag and said, the Mexican fan base will carry us through this. And God dang it, Chavez and everybody did.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Well, hopefully boxing never goes on.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, hopefully boxing never goes under, man. And I think this what's going on here, this horror brouhaha, is just a little. It's a momentary thing. So hopefully we're past it and we get the big fights that we want. All right, well, listen, Tito, it's always good to hear from you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, BDA. Hey, is Recognize there? Can I ask him a question?
Absolutely, Recognize. Tito wants to ask you a question. I think. Well, he's here, man.
Are you there, Recognize?
He's here, but he's muted. I think he's doing. He might be busy. But go ahead. Say what you want to say, man. We'll relay the message.
No, I was just going to ask him. How was it moving from the city to Florida? That's all I wanted to hear from him.
All right. We'll ask him. See if that's factual, and we'll. Yeah.
I'll get him on the next time. I'll get him on the next one.
Fantastic.
And yeah, hey, and then look, we're going to find out what happens. Canelo's going to be fighting somebody, and the people are going to pay. And it's going to be another great legacy.
We shall see.
All right, BDA.
All right, thank you for your call, Tito. Take it easy out there.
All right.
Thank you for your call.
Yep,
call back
later.
next time. Call back next time. Yeah, I heard he had a phone ringing in the background.
Yeah, that Tito, that's exactly the type of character that Canelo likes to fleece. He'll take every last cent he's got to watch Canelo beat up Can. So Canelo values fans like that for sure.
You sound a little down there, Mirage. We need to boost you up. Hopefully, one of these callers gives you a boost, man, because we need Mirage at 100% or 1,000%, like Steven Espinoza says. Shout out to Amok PvP for his contribution with the super chat as well. Again, he says Mirage's receipt for the David versus Plant pay-per-view is MIA. Wait a minute, did you promise that you were going to show a receipt for that fight, or is that what he's alluding?
No, I paid for that fight. I don't know about a receipt. No, wasn't that for the Andrade fight? I don't know, man. These guys make up rumors. You can't trust these people at all. Make up rumors.
Yeah, it's like the whole PBC Canelo thing. Yeah, a lot of rumors. Shout out to Amak for his contribution with the super chat. Shout out to Rapax Trunking Company 10-4 says, does Canelo need to give PBC the fight on credit? I mean, hey, that sounds like what some people want. I mean, I think Canelo should fight a charity. He should give the PBC charity and just fight for free. Otherwise, he's ducking Benavidez. That's the way some people are making out to be. Shout out to Rapax Trucking Company for his contribution, for reestablishing his membership program. Shout out to Rapax, always appreciate his support. Amok says, Mirage, stop capping. I mean, listen, Amok, you should call in, man. Give him a piece of your mind. Let's go to our phone call here. Let's go to 619. 619, you're there. 619, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's good?
What's
Can
up,
y'all hear me?
619? Yes, 619. We got Mirage on the line for you in
can you
case you
guys
want to
hear
say
me?
something to him.
Well, I'm not really interested in talking to him. I just wanted to say something, bro. Well, like if you look at it like this, Jermall Charlo, bro, he's being protected, bro, by fucking PBC, dude.
Break it down.
You know what I
Break
mean?
it down.
Like basically what I'm trying to say is that PBC doesn't want to lose their undefeated black fighter, bro. Like that's like pretty much like the last dude they got on their roster, except with an exception, of course, of like with Tank and David Benavidez, right? But if you look at it, the contract was originally for when Canelo signed that contract with PBC, Jermall was one of the first dudes that he was supposed to fight, and so Jermall couldn't for whatever reason fight Canelo. So his younger brother, who was out there, huffing and puffing, saying that he could beat Canelo and this and that, you know what I'm saying? In the audience, I'm pretty sure you remember that or whatever. But Jermall fucking ended up being the substitute, and now we got David Benavidez moving up in weight, right? So he's moving up in weight because how many times has he missed weight? He's missed weight multiple times. As a matter of fact, he's had to come up with his own catch weight recently, except for the Andrade fight. You know what I'm saying? I forgot how much weight was for the Andrade fight, but I think it was 168. I think it was a strict 168, in which I think he actually did make weight, right? But so now that he's moving up, that just kind of comes to prove to show you that he's not really a natural super middleweight at all, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he started his career at light heavyweight. When he was, 15, 16 years old, how much did he weigh? Like 230, 40, 50 pounds or something like that? 260 pounds. He was already sparring Triple G, at 15 years old. What was Canelo doing? He was, a good $140?
Well, he was too big for little Canelo. He was too big for little Canelo, was he? A little too big for him? Poor little Canelo. That's why you're celebrating today that Canelo's safe. This is Christmas, PDA, Canelo fan, but this is Christmas. This is the happiest day they've been for a long time. Canelo's safe. He gets to run over, beat up cans. They're rejoicing in the streets today.
The thing is, I think Canelo knows. I think Canelo knows that David Benavidez will beat it. I think we all know that. We all know that Canelo hasn't looked spectacular in his most recent fights. He hasn't looked the best. He's looked very out of shape. His stamina's low. His punch rate is fucking low. He's in my opinion a very boring fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll keep it 1,000. You know what I'm saying? He's not very exciting to watch. And so basically, if Canelo waits him out, that will weaken David Benavidez, because the older David Benavidez gets, it's basically gonna weaken him, because as he gets older, his body can't continue to make that fucking low weight. Like that's like still fucking riding with training wheels and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's weighted him out. He's moved up.
You know what I mean? So that's what. Yeah, so it's like, so the fact that people are saying that he's ducking David Benavidez, which, I mean, I don't think he's ducking David Benavidez, but I know for sure he's avoiding him. You know what I mean? I would definitely say he's avoiding David Benavidez for good reason. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be in no fucking rush to fight that motherfucker either, dude. That fool's fucking huge, bro. He's beating everybody with fucking ease at 168, bro. Nobody stands a fucking chance against him. We all know that. The dude's a fucking legit weight bully, bro. He's a fucking legit weight bully, dude. What?
If you got a choice of Munguia and Berlanga, the Mexican monster, it's obvious who you're going to choose.
You know what I mean?
Can I say this though?
You know what I mean? So that's obviously the Floyd Mayweather route, waiting dude out. Like nobody had a fucking problem with Floyd Mayweather when he fucking waited out fucking damn near all of his opponents and shit. You know what I mean? Fucking now when Canelo's doing it, fucking it's like everybody's all fucking up in arms and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I'm not even a Canelo fan, right? I'm not even a Canelo fan, but I keep things neutral. You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, like I just don't want nobody to think that I'm some kind of Canelo fucking nut hanger or fucking anything like that, or David Benavidez fucking fan. I'm a boxing fan before anything, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not really a fanboy of anyone, homie. You know what I mean?
I get you, caller. Yeah, the people that assume.
You know
the
what I'm saying? I'm just trying to keep it fucking. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it 1,000 and keep it neutral and fucking. You know what I mean? Keep the level field playing.
I got you, man. I got
you know what I mean? Even.
Caller, I got you. I got you, man. Yeah, the people that assume, that make those type of assumptions, like, oh, you guys are Canelo fanboys, or oh, you guys are Canelo haters. Let's at least try to have a discussion first before we start throwing out names. You know what I mean? That's what I tell people. Like you gotta put yourself in Canelo's shoes too, bro. Like the dude's fucking small, bro. He's fighting at a weight class where he's at a disadvantage to everyone else. Everyone at 168 towers over him, bro. He's fucking 5'8". Everyone at fucking 168 is like 6 foot and up, and fucking with long ass arm reach and all. Fucking they come in weighing fucking over fucking like 30 fucking pounds heavier than him, or 20 pounds heavier than him and shit. You know what I'm saying, dude? And he's fucking he's fucking laying him out. But Canelo hasn't even looked the best. He hasn't even looked at his best either. We got to be honest. Like his stamina is trash, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what he's doing before fights, before the night of the fight. If he's screwing his fucking wife and losing all of his fucking, his nutrients and shit, or this and that. Hey, bro, I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying, bro. Like, it's a good point. It's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
You're making me, you're making me think about that.
Yeah, of course it is.
All right, well, listen, man, we got to move on here, man, but thank you for your call. Call back next time, right, man?
All
right, take it easy, man. Thank you for your call.
But if it was Floyd, you guys wouldn't keep the same energy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, people don't address the points. They just jump to ad hominem attacks because, I don't know, I suppose they have nothing more to say. We got more phone calls here, fellas. We got more phone calls. We got Mirage here, special guest on this night of intrigue. Let's go to 929. 929, you're on the air. 929, what's on your mind?
What's up, BDA? What's going on, man?
What's up? Oh, is this Virtuoso? We got Mirage on the panel if you want to talk to him.
Oh, hey, Mirage. What's good? This really kind of came out of left field for a bit, but I'm not surprised by this because, like, there've been so many red flags since the last couple of years, beginning with Broner saying that we're going to be fighting on Twitter. Boxing on Showtime is done and all that, and lo and behold, the following year, 2023, they end their run. And along the way, I also noticed that at one point, Tim Smith said that, that fight between Crawford and Spence doesn't make any money because economics. When it kind of dawned on me that Broner was pretty much saying that these guys don't have guarantee money for these guys. And I think Haymon really wanted to begrudgingly had to pay Crawford and Spence that kind of money, and they knew they didn't have that kind of money, and they ended up paying them, and it didn't do the numbers they were quite expecting it would do because since people were hyping that shit up to the moon and stars, and now you got Canelo who got supposedly had that money in escrow, and he can't be guaranteed that money, and so what are you gonna do, man? And Crawford's a free agent now, so. That gets that out of the way, the worst is over. Now they're going to have to rebuild, with stars that don't, well, not quite stars, but up-and-comers and contenders and mid-carders that they're going to have to help, turn a profit. And I'm not shedding any tears, but I'm not celebrating at the same time because to me, this just means that this is an embarrassment. I mean,
I agree,
you got David saying that,
90 seconds.
But again, you're supposed to go out there and fight whoever makes you the most money and try to build up your resume. And he doesn't do that enough for my liking.
I agree, man. I mean, hey, listen, it's a sordid tale that we've got here, miserable. The PBC failed the boxing world by failing to come up with the money and stringing people along and making them think that they did. Very, very pathetic state of affairs, if indeed that's what's going on. All right, Virtuoso, anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, man. There's still hope for Benavidez, man. I just think he should probably just go to the zone. You know, like he should have been doing. But knowing his management team, they just keep putting the battery on his back. All right, man. Take care,
All right, man.
guys.
Thank you for your call, man. Take it easy out there. Let's go to another phone call here. The phone lines are almost
Go to the
closed.
zone for who? I mean,
Let's go to 979. 979, you're on the air. 979, what's on your mind?
Hello, what's up? What's up, BDA and everyone? This is Bruce from Houston calling in.
What's up, Bruce?
So Canelo is leaving PBC. And yeah, Twitter's kind of going like on a meltdown today, which is crazy. Or like the amount of people pointing fingers at whoever's responsible for this happening or whatever. But from what I'm looking at, it's a mutual parting of ways. So in other words, you know, someone didn't hold up their end of the bargain. And most of the time, whenever the single man walks away from the corporation, it's usually because the corporation aren't the ones holding up their end of the bargain. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I saw on Twitter saying that apparently some people were saying that, like, PBC had the $35 million guaranteed for him, and they were wanting him to fight Benavidez instead of Charlo in May or something like that. And Canelo said no and walked away, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense, because why would he walk away from $35 million guaranteed? And also, the fact that, a couple weeks ago he announced that he was going to fight an undefeated American, so he's kind of winking at Charlo, right? And then a couple of days later, I don't know if it was Haymon himself who advised him, but there was tweets saying that apparently Al Haymon himself was advising Canelo to try and fight Jaime Munguia. And I'm pretty sure the moment that happened, it kind of showed the cracks that PBC didn't have the money. Like, why would Al Haymon, of all people, advise Canelo to call up, both of their nemesis, Oscar De La Hoya, kind of their nemesis of the past 10 years or whatever, to try and make a fight? Like, if Canelo probably saw that shit and was like, all right, these guys don't have any fucking money. And Eddie Hearn always has fucking money. He calls up Eddie Hearn, he's like, yeah, I got $50 million for you. And he's like, all right, let's fucking do it. And, also, wouldn't PBC trying to fucking sue, wouldn't they take Canelo to court? If PBC had $35 million, the venue, the date, and the guy to fight, and Canelo said no, wouldn't PBC have some sort of grounds for legal action in some way? Because, they wouldn't work their asses off coming up with $35 million. Like, PBC never comes up with guarantee money, and then they would work their asses off for like the past 6-7 months to make $35 million, to come up with that money. Just
you're right.
For him to say no and then just to let him walk away, like, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Terms of the contract.
So I don't know. It's pretty clear to me that PBC just don't have guaranteed money for anyone.
Hold on, one at a time.
Well, I'm sure I just add, I'm sure there would be some recourse for the PBC if Canelo just reneged and walked away. If, like, the PBC met every term, and I'm sure it wasn't like Canelo and, smoking a fatty in the back of a car reading his contract. There was a fucking army of lawyers who went over every word. And they would have told Canelo, yeah, you can get out here, you can get out there. So I'm sure some part of that contract was not met at a certain time period that allowed him to walk away without recourse.
How do we know? Like,
I honestly think that the main
walk away. Like,
breach of contract was honestly the fact that it's not on Showtime anymore.
There's a disconnect.
Hear me?
No, well, that's the thing. There's a bit of a delay here. Listen, caller, we got to move on, man. But we'll answer your question. Keep listening off the line, all right, man?
All righty.
All right, thank you for your call, man. Take it easy. Yeah, okay. Well, what were you gonna say, Mirage?
Obviously, too many people are acting like they know the terms of the contract. Okay, I don't know the terms, you don't, but logically, I would say, like I said earlier, if there will be terms like if we can't mutually agree, either side can walk away. And why we're ignoring the reports from Mexican reporters was that Canelo was insisting on Charlo. PBC said, Canelo said, I'm only going to fight Charlo. And if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to fight for the PBC. That was reported by some Mexican journalist. He's got like 1 million followers. Like he's a somebody apparently.
Well, I don't know who you're talking about. I'd like to hear.
With the narrative, PBC got no money. That's the narrative we're pushing. They're broke. They're busted. But I bet you they're going to find the money for Tank Davis. I bet they're going to keep paying fighters if they're so broke.
Wait. I highly doubt they're going to find $55 million to pay to split between Tank Davis and Frank Martin. That's number one. Number two, we're all speculating. You said, right? We're speculating. So my speculation is the Canelo fight was a 3-fight deal. The contract was a 3-fight deal. If they promise him one thing, and then they try to renege on it, and he's walking away scot-free, and they're not suing him for it.
What if Canelo promised something and he reneged?
But then how would they let him walk away? Then they wouldn't let him walk away, which is what apparently is going to happen.
Unless it's a condition where Canelo gets to choose, and they get to choose. We don't know the conditions. Maybe Canelo is allowed to walk away if he's not happy with what they've got.
Again, you're speculating, and you're missing the signs here, which backs up what Rick Glazer has been saying, which is that the PBC has been going under for a while now. I know there's a lot of people out there, not you necessarily, because you're more about Canelo Benavidez. You don't give a shit about PBC this, PBC that, but there's a lot of people that do. So a lot of people that are emotionally invested in the PBC. And some of us have been trying to tell these people for years, listen, the PBC is not doing well. Compare it to how it started and where it's going now.
What's the way to fix that? If they're not doing well, isn't the best way to fix that to make the biggest possible fight a huge mega fight?
First of all,
they'd be desperate to Canelo Benavidez, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's the biggest possible fight they can make, but that doesn't necessarily mean Canelo is happy with the way that it's going. In other words, you might believe that it's going to generate this amount of money, but the fact that they failed to come up with with the money in the escrow account is indicative that they don't know what they're doing, or they can't do what they promised to do. So that lowers the confidence. He says, you know what? I'm not going to waste my time with these fuckers. Imagine he takes a fight. Again, we're speculating, right? Imagine he takes a fight, and all of a sudden they give him a sweet story about, we can't pay you now, because that's what's happened allegedly with other PBC fighters. Well, we won't pay you now, but we're going to give you the payment in installments or something. And then they force Canelo to take him into litigation. It turns into a whole year of litigation or years. That's what he's looking at. Canelo's looking at from that point of view. It's like, they can't guarantee me the money that they promised me now. Why the fuck would I trust him to give it to me afterwards? He's not going to risk that.
That's one story. That's one narrative.
Well, Mirage, remember when Crawford, part of the thing, collapsed the Spence fight back in 2022, and he went on a fight at a Vision, whatever, I can't say the dude's name, but he asked to see the books, and first off, they wouldn't guarantee him any money, and then Spence even tweeted, Jesus, I'm not even getting a guarantee. What are you complaining about? Which showed they couldn't even afford to put up a guarantee. And then when he said, okay, he acquiesced to all those terms, he said, but I want to see the books. I'm not just going to take your word. And that was the deal breaker. No, you can't see the books. So there's obviously some cookbooks, a bunch of shit going on there. And listen, I'm disappointed. I want to see the fight too. But I'm just saying, when the PBC is involved, there's always, you know what I mean? There's enough of a sample size to show that it's usually the PBC who's pulling the shenanigans.
They had lacked confidence on how big that fight would be, so obviously they'd be hesitant for a guarantee. Benavidez Canelo will be a bonanza. That'll do a huge pay-per-view. That'll sell.
Yeah, but they were only looking for like $5 million guaranteed. They weren't asking for the bank.
Yeah, so when you have a guaranteed mega fight, I don't see why Canelo would be worried about escrows and all this bullshit. What I think happened is, he just didn't want to fight David. He didn't want to fight him. That's the simplest thing to me. He didn't want to fight him, and PBC didn't want to pony up for fucking drunk Charlo. That's simple, and it's reasonable.
Whether he wanted
now
to
he's
fight...
gone to the zone. Now he's gone to the zone. Let's see now if Eddie Hearn offers David a contract with Canelo on there to lure him. Wouldn't that make sense?
Well,
I've
there's
got
a
Canelo. I'm
super
going to
chat.
make a huge fight.
Somebody
see what
left a
happens.
somebody left a super chat here. Hold on a second. It was shout out to JVX88 for his contribution to the super chat. He says, Mirage, will David Benavidez now cross the street for Canelo in September?
Okay. Why would he cross the street when Canelo just crossed the street to get away from him? So now he's going to keep chasing him with no guarantee? Yeah. He'll cross the street if Eddie Hearn gives him a contract and it says the first fight on your contract is Canelo. That's when he should cross the street. Does that sound fair?
Well, that's
guaranteed Canelo fight.
That's if your scenario is true. If your scenario, that's only if your scenario is true. We don't know. We don't know if Canelo's afraid of Benavidez. You've been saying that for years now, for
you mean
a
we
year
don't
and a
know,
half.
we don't have
but
evidence?
we don't know.
He just left the PBC.
Yeah, but you even admitted that you don't know why he left. But you keep insisting that it's because he's afraid of Benavidez, which is something you've been doing for a year and a half.
offered. David's dad said that they offered $5 million. We accepted it. We never.
And
heard
David
from him
Benavidez,
again.
Jose said, well, Jose, I think he's confused because he said one thing, Samson Lewkowicz said the other, and then Eddie Reynoso said another thing. So there's a whole miscommunication
So they're all lying.
going on
Everybody's
there,
lying. Nobody offered nothing. Apparently, nobody was interested in the biggest fight. And Canelo
I mean,
just
listen,
left for some other reason.
Canelo's a guy who's made a lot of good money. He's built himself up as the biggest star in the world in boxing. And then you got the other side that just keeps going down and down in terms of prestige, talking about the PBC. So I think if I had to choose and look at all of this and say, who am I going to trust? I think I'm going to go with the Canelo side. By the way, shout out to Lalo Soto 13 Gaming for his contribution to the super chat. He says, PBC and their jock sniffers are out on suicide watch. Come on. I mean, the whole suicide thing. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people that are trying to spin it. They're trying to spin this
Canelo
into
got paid. Was there any problem getting paid for the Charlo fight? He got paid, didn't he? Fine.
Yeah, he got paid.
So
and that's why
he's going to leave the.
He got paid, and that's why they probably secured his escrow in time back then when they had Showtime on board. Now that they don't have Showtime on board,
exactly.
It's all on the
Showtime
PBC
put up
now.
the money.
But here's one thing that
and Amazon aren't interested in investing in.
No, that was part of the whole mission statement, bro. It was they explicitly wrote that in their mission statement. On one line, it said, "We will produce, pay for, shoulder programming, meaning weigh-ins, docuseries, and they will keep it a part of their library of sports." But on the next two lines below that, it says, "We will also, so in on top of." Exclusively stream, not produce, stream PBC boxing events, meaning all they were willing to do was, because they had everything in place to put on the fight. I mean, to show it, but that was the extent as far as they were going to go. They were not bankrolling, because you got to remember, in the midst, what's going on right now in Amazon, they just laid off 300 people. They're supposed to be laying up to 2,000 people off. They just lost billions of dollars on that Genie thing, right? And then that Amazon, their show for the Rings of Fire, or whatever, the Lord of the Rings, their spin just absolutely was a dreadful bomb. So they lost so much money recently. The word is there, because I watch guys like the culture shit, like Neurotic. He said the word from up top, which is Bezo, is watch the pennies. So they're not throwing away my money. Like I said, they're literally January 10th of this year, they laid off over 300 people from Amazon Prime.
How are they going to pay for any? How's PBC going to pay for the tank fight coming up? How are they going to pay?
They're what they're going to do is give him his usual $1.5 million guaranteed, which isn't that hard to come up with. Even Floyd could come up with that. And then they'll expect, because remember, Gervonta's mowing him all the time, so he gets his fights, he gets his money in increments. He's not getting it all at once. They're probably still paying him, because that's how he's done it with everybody. Because fighters who have left have said that. Fighters who have now left the PBC, now along a contract, have said that's what he does. He tells you, well, we're not going to pay you all at once. What a lot of promoters do. They're not going to, because then they're going to get, say if they pay you it all at once, you get hit with a 50% capital gains tax. So half your money's gone. But if they put it and they pay you in increments.
Canelo's dumb. He knows that, and he wants it all up front.
Yeah, he would want half up front. Yeah, obviously he doesn't care about losing half the money. He just wants his hands on that
Yeah,
money.
this is just wild speculation. Wild speculation.
But it's
Well,
not
if you
We don't know.
speculation,
We don't
bro,
know the
because
future. I mean,
but that's
we don't
what
know.
was been reported from. That's what was said by Glazer right from the get-go, from 3 weeks ago when he first tweeted that, hey, listen, trouble in paradise, the money is not there. And so clearly he was hearing from Canelo's people, because subsequently it all came to fucking fruition, everything he said. And he said that was the thing. They kept checking the escrow account, and the money was not there like was promised that it would be.
So the
Yeah,
report, he was reportedly offered 55 million for Benavidez. So everybody's
here we go.
lying.
Wait, whoa. No. The 55, that had nothing to do with that's Sam Lewkowicz. Listen,
No, he
like they
said
said.
PBC. He said PBC. So he's lying.
Yeah,
Hang on.
listen.
He's lying in our
No,
Haymon
Mirage,
saying.
let me finish. We did this last year, remember? And he had to
And
go
it was
on. Yes, no, and he had to go on and say it had after he went out in his fight. Remember, David Benavidez said, and I felt bad for him because you could tell he was given bad information from Lewkowicz, because he even said in an interview, he's putting on his hand wraps. He goes, and listen, they gave him, they offered him 50 million, man. The PBC's behind me. It's their money. The money is good. And next thing you know, because while this was going on, Canelo was actually in the midst of negotiating with Haymon. Lewkowicz had to go on that kid's podcast. Forgive me for forgetting the name of it. I can get it. And he said, I just wanted to make this clear. I misspoke, basically what he's saying. That offer had nothing to do with the PBC. That was from me, and he touched his chest, which was clearly getting his dick spanked, because he does. He runs his mouth. He did the same thing with Plant.
Yeah.
And again, that's not David Benavidez. That's
Espinoza
Lewkowicz.
said it was backed by Showtime PBC, but apparently Espinoza
Who said that?
lying.
Who said that?
I told you last time he was
No,
interviewed.
Espinoza said that when he was with Showtime. He did not say it this time. He's on video 3 weeks ago at the Tim Cruise. The last interview he said he was on at the Tim Kazoo fucking Charlo press conference. He said for 37 years the network produced the fights, but now under the new agreement, the PBC is producing the events. So I have to find people looking for a good opportunity. So there was no money. He was trying to secure it. He just recently, I guess yesterday, tweeted out saying,
Can I talk?
Yeah, but I'm saying, dude, you can't say that 50 million. Listen, you can't say, once you're a proven liar, and not saying you, but Sam Lewkowicz, he was already caught in a lie straight up last year with the same thing, $50 million.
Espinoza was asked about the offer last June. That's the first big offer which Lewkowicz claimed he sent. They asked him, that offer that Samson claimed, was that a real offer? Espinoza said that was a true offer that was backed by PBC and Showtime. He said this last June. Okay, so I don't know.
Yeah, but that was when they were Showtime. But why did then answer me this? Why did Lewkowicz go on a video to explicitly say the PBC had nothing to do with it? That offer was an email from me.
Speak English. He can barely speak English. He's very confused.
So all right. No, there was no confusion in this. The whole premise of that interview was just to do that. He came on. He scheduled an interview. Let me finish, dude. For one purpose. Yes, of course he was. He fucking lies every time he opens his mouth. All right, dude, how many times has Espinoza have to be caught lying before you say, okay, he's a liar? He's a fucking lawyer. They lie with every breath they take. And there's a reason why he also ran Showtime into the ground. There's a reason he's unemployed. Actually, he's a consultant now for the PBC. So you're talking about a dude who ran a fucking 37-year network in boxing into the ground through his lies, manipulation, and shitty fights. So I take anything that motherfucker says with a grain of salt, because he's a shitbag who ruined Showtime. This is not a reflection on David Benavidez.
We're going to trust Eddie. We're going to trust.
Wait, hold on. Let me speak now. Let me speak now. First of all, that type of language, very salty. Number two, Samson Lewkowicz, you can't say I don't trust Samson Lewkowicz because he doesn't speak English, but then you cite him as, he offered this Canelo $1 million offer. Well, you just said he's a liar, so why would you trust what he has to say? Number two, this whole thing is a mess. We've seen fighters before have trouble with the PBC, but they can't really say it because they've signed the non-disclosure agreements. But we have seen guys at the end of their careers essentially shitting on them. Sean Porter was vocal about his unhappiness with the PBC's frustration. he ended his last fight was on Top Rank. Daniel Jacobs left Top Rank. Deontay Wilder eventually, Daniel Jacobs left the PBC. Wilder eventually left PBC as well. You're seeing Matias now leaving. You saw Stephen Fulton say, I don't want your little fucking plan of me rematching Figueroa. I want the big dog. I want Inoue. And that they made it happen and he left. And that's the other thing. Where are those guys? Fulton, Broner's another guy, by the way, that used to complain a lot about the PBC. So Fulton hasn't fought since the summer. A bunch of other guys haven't fought. Errol Spence. And you saw what happened with Terence Crawford. He finally went into the other side of the street to fight Spence. And then they held a rematch close over him, wasted the rest of 2023 for him. They wasted his time. So now Canelo's walking away. What does that tell you? It's just maybe, it's the PBC that doesn't know what they're doing.
And you said Wilder and Broner, both those people not just left, but also prior to leaving and after they left, complained about the money. Remember, Wilder kept saying, I'm told I'm getting this money, but I don't get it. Broner straight up says Haymon robbed him. He was getting every month his payment got shorter and shorter and shorter. And that's what he was doing. He's holding these fighters, but they do sign an NDA. So again, you got one side who's got fighters. They just lost their best champion, I think. One of their best at 140 just bolted. Now he just signed with Matchroom. Clearly things aren't good at the PBC. I'm not saying I'm not disappointed either, Mirage, about the Benavidez fight. I'm disappointed too. I'm just saying, if there was no reason for Canelo, if it wasn't on the PBC, that means the PBC has him by the short and curlies. You have a contract. You can't go fight on DAZN because you're legally obligated to fight under this promotion. But since the fact that he could walk away, clearly something on the PBC side was not met that gave him the door to walk away. That's all I'm saying. I'm not fucking saying anything else about the duck and all that shit. That's a separate entity. I'm talking about the actual money. I guarantee that all that shit is true. The PBC fucked up and it gave Canelo a door to leave. The rest is the rest is the rest,
Yeah. Like I said earlier, or Canelo simply didn't adhere to their terms and they decided to walk away. Goes both ways. You're just putting it all.
Yeah, but why would they walk away from the face of boxing? I guarantee you that was part of the whole way they were.
He's not profitable. That's why.
Of course,
how are they going to pay?
How
are they going to pay the king's ransom if the fights don't generate? What kind of magic is this?
Listen, I'll tell you this. Guarantee. Well, Glazer, I think it was today when he was on with Coach, but he was talking about a part of the deal with the way they're able to even ascertain that fucking big Amazon company was showing. Look, we got Crawford, who's the best American-born fighter right now, bar none, and we got the face of boxing, Canelo. And within 2 months of signing that deal, their face of boxing and Canelo is gone, along with two of their biggest champions.
Canelo fucked them over.
I would not be surprised if you don't. Well, dude, they couldn't have fucked if it was Canelo. Okay, let's go with that. Let's just say that's what happened. Canelo's not meeting his end of the agreement. Then that means he can't fight because it'll be held up in court. He wouldn't. The United States wouldn't be able to fight in the States or anywhere else. The most boxing sanctioning bodies follow that. It's being held up the same way Andre Ward couldn't fight for 2.5 years. Mickey Garcia couldn't fight 2.5 years. When they said no, my contract's up, Bob said no, it isn't. It's time
or
they
had those. Want to move on, or they simply want to move on.
You wouldn't want to move on from fucking Canelo. That's the last thing the PBC wanted to do.
What if Canelo has protections that allows him to move on?
You don't know. Let me just step in. Listen, first of all, we gotta go. But Mirage, that's all you've been doing the past year. What if? You don't know that. Here's what we know: Canelo's leaving the PBC, and what's probably gonna come up. Just like a lot of other people have been leaving the PBC, and the thing that's been substantiated with evidence and witness accounts is that they don't know what they're doing over the PBC, and they like the funds. And look at them at the Amazon. This has already been all of this has already been explained to you, but you insist on going on in circles, man. It's listen, just accept the fact that PBC fucked it up. But there's a silver lining to this. Maybe the Saudis can come in and salvage this as they've been doing the past 6 months. They've really been trying to save boxing and give us the fights that we deserve and that American promoters failed to give. So we'll see what happens there. In the meantime, fellas, with that being said, we got to go. I'm tired. We've been on for 2 hours.
Take it easy.
2.5 hours. All right, 2.5 hours. Thank you for everybody that called. Mirage, thank you for jumping in. Highly entertaining. Shout out to everybody that called in. Everybody that donated via the super chat. Actually, let me just see if I missed anybody. No? Okay, shout out to everybody that donated via the super chat. All the guys that re-established their membership program. La Losoto, Rapax Trucking Company. Shout out to you guys. Really appreciate it. And like I said, everybody that donated via the super chat. And everybody in that chat. Well, actually, excuse me. All the panelists, of course. Recognize was here. Bucho, Jimmy. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm talking about the Parokua, Gucci Berserk, Super Sardonic. Who else was here? Nightmurph, Dante Merlo, Chuck, Protectorate General. If I forgot anybody, fellas, because we got to go. Knockout Ned, shout out to you, fellas. We got to go. Thanks for listening. Gypsy. Hold on a second. Gypsy, thank you for being on, man. He says, BD8 tired. That's impossible. Well, listen, my stamina does have its limits, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to everybody. Rafael Garza. Shout out to Rafael Garza. Amok, Mr. Palavacas, the Quags. We'll catch you later during the week, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Take it easy out there.